News Justin. Police have arrested a 23-year-old suspect for his alleged involvement in a drive-by shooting in Rea Park, Ekurhuleni at the weekend. Gauteng's anti-gang unit nabbed the suspect last night following an intense manhunt. 6 people were killed when unknown gunmen opened fire on a group on Saturday evening. 3 other people are recovering in hospital after sustaining gunshot wounds. Following the deadly shooting, Gauteng authorities vowed to dispatch additional resources to clamp down on crime in Rea Park. Police spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuhulwi says the suspect is expected to appear in court tomorrow.
Major General Kekana has applauded the team for their relentless efforts and further thanked the community for their cooperation and working together in ensuring that the suspects are arrested.
Let's stay in Ekurhuleni. There is still some uncertainty around the facts of an alleged attempted hit on controversial businessman Brown Mahzi. 3 bullets struck the driver and passenger seats of the vehicle. He says he was traveling in last night, yet he emerged unscathed. Mahzi alleges that unknown assailants driving a white bakkie attacked him in Vosloorus in Ekurhuleni last night. The red Chevrolet, which Mahzi was supposedly driving at the time, is now at the Vosloorus police station, where ballistic experts are examining it. The Northwest businessman is at the center of allegations of police corruption. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Police ballistic experts have used trajectory rods, which are yellow sticks inserted into bullet holes on the red Chevrolet, to determine the direction from which the shots were fired. The rods clearly show that 2 bullets struck the driver's seat and continued to hit the back seat, while 1 bullet hit the passenger seat and exited through the back door. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate says Brown Mahzi was not hit by any bullets, despite evidence showing that 3 bullets struck the front seats.
We know that he was uninjured, unwounded, and he is well, probably traumatized as he alleges, but for now no injuries and no wounds to his body.
11 cartridges were recovered from the scene of Mahzi's alleged shooting. The controversial businessman was asked by police to open a case last night but refused to do so. Police ended up opening an attempted murder case. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Vosloorus.
Let's move to Pretoria now, where CCTV footage showing a possible shady deal between a police officer and Sandton businessman Katiso KT Molefe has been shared with the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Sergeant F.E. Nkosi, a member attached to the Organised Crime Unit in Gauteng, has been identified as the cop in question. Nkosi was previously named as the alleged middleman in money dealings between suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya and criminal accused tender tycoon Vusumuzi Kat Matlala. Last week, witnesses alleged that Sibiya was paid millions in cash on several occasions by Matlala, with Nkosi collecting the money in some instances. Oren Singh has more.
On November 27th last year, shortly after 4 p.m., Sergeant F.E. Nkosi is seen arriving at the luxury Sandhurst home of murder-accused Katiso KT Molefe. 9 minutes later, Nkosi is seen being escorted by Molefe back to his state vehicle, a white BMW, while carrying a large white paper bag. Whatever's contained in the bag doesn't seem to be weighing Nkosi down. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo alludes to the contents of the bag possibly being bribe money.
The picture is like he just came in to collect something that was already packed and waiting for pickup.
10 days after Nkosi's visit to Molefe's home, Molefe was arrested by members of GCI Ops and the Political Killings Task Team in a takedown operation that was riddled with interference by the Hawks. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
To this now, the Electoral Commission says it is preparing to be ready to hold local government elections by the first Wednesday of November next year. According to the body, the polls can be held between the 2nd of November 2026 and the 30th of January 2027. The IEC held a media briefing in Centurion today to update the public on its election preparedness. Tabiso Koba was there.
COGTA Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa has the sole prerogative of announcing the dates for the local government elections. He does this in consultation with the IEC, taking into account a number of factors, including school exams, the festive season period, and weather patterns. IEC Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Masego Sheburi says the Commission is preparing for every possible scenario.
Its role is to stand ready at the first day on which an election may be called. Because if we do not stand ready on that day, we are invariably taking away the decision making from the minister. So we stand ready to administer an election on the first Wednesday in November.
Sheburi says the IEC doesn't have any indication of when the COGTA minister plans to announce the election dates. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Centurion.
And in Rome, the prosecutor's office has opened an investigation into the collapse of a medieval tower. This after authorities confirmed the death of a worker who was trapped after parts of the tower collapsed. The 66-year-old was pulled nearly 12 hours after a section of the tower on the edge of the famous Roman Forum and close to the Colosseum gave way. Officials say his heart stopped in the ambulance and doctors at the hospital he was rushed to were unable to save him. He was part of a team carrying out conservation work at the building, which has been empty and abandoned for many years now. Gold is trading at $3,992.98 an ounce. The rand is at 17.49 to the dollar, 22.85 to the pound, 20.09 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, Calvin, roadworks slowing down traffic heading towards Germiston. That's the N3 southbound between the Patlu interchange and London Road. Also, there's roadworks causing delays in the Devland area heading towards Aldo's Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue.
In US sport, the latest from the first ODI between Pakistan and South Africa as Devard Brevis is ruled out with injury. Kaizer Chiefs look to include themselves in the Betway Premiership title conversation, and South Africa's bid steering committee to meet again with Formula One in January.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Police have arrested a 23-year-old suspect for his alleged involvement in a drive-by shooting in Rea Park, Ekurhuleni at the weekend.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's 9 minutes past 3 on Tuesday, the 4th of November. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Wherever you're listening to us in 702 land, welcome to the show. One of today's biggest stories has been Brown Mokgotzi's statement that people try to kill him by firing shots at his car. While a car that has been shot at is currently standing outside the Vosloorus police station, there's still a lot of questions being asked about what exactly happened. Alpha Ramoshwana is out there at the police station in Vosloorus. He joins us shortly for an update. Some other stories we're covering related to all of this, I would think the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Some truly startling information coming out as General Dumisani Khumalo, Head of Crime Intelligence, continues to testify. Oren Singh listening closely, and he'll share with us what particularly has jumped out. He's going to have to do some editing, Oren is, because from the bits I've watched, keeps coming. Bags of money that you just heard about a moment ago, and plenty more besides. Oren with us after 5. IEC, as you heard there from Mbali Dlamini, coming up with more information ahead of next year's local government elections. We're particularly interested in the numbers of new voters registering or people coming along to the IEC, making sure that the details that the electoral body has for them are in order. What do the voter numbers tell us about the appetite of younger South Africans for the democratic process? And what do they tell us about which parties, if the pattern continues to be more or less the same, which political parties are likely to benefit from low or high registration? And some of you have had solar panels long enough now for some of them to need replacing. but what do you do to recycle the old ones? More on that in our Green Tip of the Week at 10 to 5. We've got all that and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and the latest from the markets. The JSE's taken a big dip today, down by 1,620 points. That's a loss of 1.5%. Resources have taken a bigger knock than that. That index weaker by 3.1, illustrated by a couple of shares in that sector. Northam down by 5.8%, Valterra by 4.6%. Goldfields has lost 3.4% of its value. But other sectors have been hit as well. Clicks is down by 4%, 91 by 3.7. The rand's currently trading at 17 Rand 49 against the US dollar. That's 19 cents weaker than it was this time yesterday. A euro will cost you 20 Rand and 8 cents, weaker by 15 cents, 22 Rand 73 will get you a pound. The oil price is down by 77 cents. Brent crude currently trading at $64.03 a barrel. Stephen Critis joins us with all the details at 4:25. We'll have sport with Tola Kelem Ganga. Mbali Dlamini has the latest news headlines. Karabo Chali is keeping an eye on the roads. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. If it's happening in 702 land, we'll bring it to you as quickly as we can. But if you can help us to do that quicker by telling us about stories we might have missed or angles that we possibly haven't quite got right, get in touch, please, on 072 7021 702 or ring us on 011 883 0702. It's 13 minutes past 3. This is 702 Drive.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
As always, lots to talk about, lots to inquire about, lots to think about, including those kind of more random thoughts that pop up in the course of either things we read or see, or conversations we overhear, or conversations that we have with each other. Now, we were talking about our old ID books. Not very sure why we did that. I think there's some new data out about some sort of dip in the number of people actually coming to get smart card IDs, as against the expectation of how many people ought to come and get them. And my train of thought went from, okay, the picture in my old green ID book, which I still have, where I look very different to the way I look now, but I quite liked the picture. And then we came up with something related to that, which is this question. What is your favorite photo of yourself? What's the photo of yourself that you like the most? You're very welcome to describe it to us. You could post it on our Facebook page. You could post it on @Radio 702, which is where you'll find us on X. Or you could keep it to yourself and just describe it for us as best you possibly can. Rifui Letsu, I asked you earlier if you have a favorite photo of yourself, and you jumped immediately and said yes, with a big smile, I have to say. Tell us about the pic. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. So I have a picture that my little sister took of me when I was home. So I think why this picture was very significant to me was I shaved all my hair off after 20 years.
Yes.
And I was playing chess outside near the dogs. And I just had this random cloth, this brown random cloth that I put on myself. And I was just in my element. And I just thought that was just the most beautiful picture I've ever seen, because I'm laughing, I'm not posting, I'm just in my own world. And I remember putting it on my WhatsApp, and someone was saying, are you on some spiritual retreat? You look like a monk. So I love it to this day. Hey?
So, I mean, what I'm hearing from your description, but tell me if I'm close, is that you're really at peace there. Your hair's, you've cut off your hair, and maybe there's new beginnings, because obviously your hair's going to grow. You're at home, you can wear what you want. Chess can be very meditative, particularly I would imagine if you're reasonably good at it, but maybe not. Maybe if you're very good at it, it's intensely stressful. But was that a very peaceful moment?
You're reading it well, but I was also going through something really hectic.
Okay.
But I think at that moment I'd just forgotten about that hecticness or that pain I was going through.
Right.
It was like You were just there, you're peaceful, you're playing, the dogs are barking in the background, and you're just laughing. And she's like, look how pretty you look here. You look like you're at peace, like nothing's bothering
lovely.
you. So it was a split moment of, it's okay.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very, very nice. So, Karabo Chale, good afternoon to you. Favorite picture of yourself?
Afternoon.
And by the way, either of you want to post this picture up on the same platforms, let us know, and I'll tell people where to go and look. I might put a few of my own up. But Karabo, over to you.
Well, I've got two, John. One is my ID photo. I was 16, looked so innocent with an afro, you know. I looked very handsome. I don't know what life did to me. But hey, it is what it is. I look totally different, John. I love it because, every time I brag about, look how handsome I used to look. And everybody's like, what happened? I'm like, anyway.
Oh, come on. Well, I'm going to have to see the picture.
No, they're just kidding.
No
they're
comment.
just kidding.
No comment.
And then the second one is when I was in grade 2. It's a school picture at school.
Right.
So I was sitting there all cute with a nice, cute smile. Looking pretty. And then I like it as well because when people joke and say, are you sure that's your kid? And I'm like, look at these pictures.
Yes.
It's like a splitting image.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Boy, that's lovely. So, by the way, if you want to judge for yourself what Karabo Chale looks like right now, you can follow us on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in 702 Drive, John Perlman, live, I think live stream or whatever. That ought to get you there. But go to YouTube. That's the quickest way of accessing. I'd say Mr. Chale still looks pretty good. 18 minutes past 3. How does the traffic look?
Well, at this stage, also looking pretty good, John. Nothing hectic. No accidents have been reported. However, we still have those roadworks in the Devland area. This is on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue in Calvin. We also have roadworks. So this is a roadwork slowing down traffic on the N3 southbound. Between the Patloo interchange and London Road. Traffic lights still not working. Poles off at Witkoppen and Main. There's also traffic lights not working in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So I want to get your thoughts, please, and your guidance on new voters and people registering to take part in next year's local government elections. I think the numbers have been disappointing for a good number of years now. We've been very, very unsure as to whether there's a kind of an appetite for participation in the democratic process of younger South Africans. And by the way, I think it's fair to say that the fact that you don't, people are not registering to vote may well be a point that they're trying to make, because some people say, oh, if you don't register, it means you have no interest in the democratic process. Not a conclusion you can draw with any certainty at all, in my view. That may be people's expressing their view exactly what they think of politics and the current form that it's taken. So give us a call on that. If you've gone and registered to vote yourself, I'd like to know about it. If a family member, you're trying to persuade them and say, come on, you got to go and register, you got to take part and get involved, and maybe they're giving you strong arguments as to why it is they don't want to do this and why they're not going to do it. So lots to talk about there. Your views, please, on 011 883 0702. And of course, as we asked you a little bit earlier, but you might have missed it, describe your favorite picture of yourself. It's 20 minutes past 3.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
So let's go out to Vosloorus now. A businessman, Brown Mokgotsi, whose name has come up regularly in all sorts of contexts in the various investigations going on into the state of the South African Police Service. Overnight, I think it was around 10 o'clock, has been in engagement with the police out in the Kuruleni community of Vosloorus, saying that men in a bakkie shot at him while he was driving in that general area on the N3. Now, my understanding is he was supposed to come back to the station this morning. 8 o'clock was the time given by spokesperson Brigadier Atlenda Mate. But to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't come back yet to open a case and make a statement. So what do we know? Let's find out from our EWN colleague, Alpha Ramoshwana, who's been out in Vosloorus, keeping his ears wide open and his eyes and trying to find out as much to fill in an incomplete picture as he possibly can. Alpha, very good afternoon to you. What do we know so far?
Good afternoon, John. So as you have said, at about 9:10 p.m. last night, Brown Mahzi claims that he was targeted by men in a white bakkie and hailed bullets at his car. And private security, according to community members that we've spoken to, were the first to arrive on the scene, and police subsequently also arrived on the scene. Now, the vehicle was then taken to the Vosloorus police station, and it was kept there overnight into today morning. When we arrived there, police ballistic experts, John, had also been arriving, beginning their investigations and ballistic testing into the physical and firearm evidence. So what we could see with the naked eye were about 5 bullets, that 5 bullets were shot to the car, 2 on the driver door, the windscreen as well, and 2 more bullets just close to the front tire on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now, police were conducting their ballistic tests today, and they used what is called trajectory rods. Now, those are yellow sticks, John, that you insert into bullet holes to try and determine the direction from which the shots were fired. And when police or the ballistic experts plugged those sticks into the bullet holes, we could see that 2 bullets hit the passenger seat, and 2 bullets hit the driver's seat rather, and 1 more bullet hit the passenger seat. Now, Brown Mahzi claims that he was driving the car when the unknown gunman fired shots at him.
Right.
But he emerged unharmed, unscathed. Not a single bullet touched him, despite 2 bullets having hit the driver's seat and 1 more the passenger seat. So according to the police, the details are also very sketchy at this moment, John, because he was supposed to be at the Vosloorus police station. In fact, he promised the police that he would avail himself at 8 o'clock this morning to submit and write down his statement on what transpired last night. But 8 o'clock hit, he was not there. It's now 3 p.m. He's still not there. He's a no-show. So police as well are determining on their own what transpired last night, but they don't have a statement from Brown Mahzi as of yet.
In terms of the ownership of the car, I did hear quite early on in the day that Brigadier Mate was asked that question, has the ownership of the vehicle been established? I find it interesting that she said, well, no, that was not something they could comment on. Ordinarily, if there wasn't any doubt about the story that Mr. Mahzi has told and the veracity thereof, one would have thought that would be a very straightforward answer.
Yeah, but we as Eyewitness News also, did our job. Our senior reporter, Oren Singh, did some tests on the license plate on the vehicle, and what we found was that the vehicle was purchased a few weeks ago, and Oren did make a call to the dealership, and they confirmed that the vehicle was indeed sold a few weeks ago. Did not confirm if it was to Brown Mahzi, but it is no longer in their ownership, and it was sold a few weeks ago. So today this happens to the vehicle. So we did speak to community members who claimed to have spoken to Brown Mahzi last night when the incident happened, and they say that Brown Mahzi told them that he was using the red Chevrolet Aveo to be undercover because he believes that his life is in danger and he doesn't want to use his, luxurious vehicles, and decided to use this vehicle just so that he is not identifiable to those who may be looking for him or looking to target him. So the details are very sketchy, but from what we know and what we managed to gather at EWN is that the vehicle was purchased a few weeks ago.
Lots of questions, but already some really intriguing and important answers. Thank you, Alpha Ramoshwana, EWN reporter out in Vosloorus. I'm expecting we're going to hear from him again at some point later in the day. News bulletins, of course, on the half hour, and at the top of the hour, every hour, right here on 7:02. So if more news on that comes in, well, we'll bring it to you as quickly as we can. 26 minutes past 3.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's focus our attention now on the upcoming local government elections. No date as yet set, although the likely window for the election seems to be identified as between November of next year and January of the year that follows. So quite a tight window, really, in terms of holiday and all the other things. Matrics, schools that ordinarily might get used for voting are very much front and center and the focus of the effort to get through matric if you're a student and get the exams delivered if you're involved in the Department of Basic Education. So I'm wondering how they're going to resolve all of that. But lots of updates on all sorts of issues from the IEC today, and our colleague Tabiso Goba was there. Tabiso, the one thing I'm very interested in, and good afternoon to you, is registrations. Did they analyze the figures or just give them to us? And if they didn't analyze them, do you have any insight as to whether they're good, indifferent, predictable?
I'm so sorry, John. Can I just...
The registration figures for...
Is this for new political parties or new voters?
For new voters.
Oh, for new voters, John, they said they have about 300,000 registered new voters. So this is obviously very encouraging for the IEC. But in terms of the breakdown, in terms of the ages of that group, we unfortunately they didn't give us those figures. But it is 300 new voters. You will obviously know that, John, last year's 2024 elections, we had a 57% voter turnout, which was the lowest in the country's history. So obviously the IEC working very, very hard in terms of registering those new people. But I think it is interesting in terms of how people registered for those new voters. So about 78% of the new voters were registered using the IEC's voter registration machines, and about 10%, which is what was encouraging from the IEC, that's about 10% registered online. So the IEC is saying that a lot of those young people we know that are a bit apathetic about this democratic process of voting are starting to register online, and obviously they are trying to push that, making it much more accessible for people to register to vote. Lots
covered. We can't cover all of it, so tell us what you think we most need to know about.
Yes, we'll start with the money, John. Very important. The IEC has set aside 2.1 billion rand for the elections. They believe that this should be enough, barring obviously some sort of tragedy like something like COVID or anything else. They feel like 2.1 billion rand should be enough to administer a peaceful election. There's as we currently stand, we have 508 political parties that are registered in the country. 62 of these parties were registered from last year's general elections. And as you can imagine, John, as we get closer to the elections, we're expecting more parties to be registered. You remember, John, that earlier this year there was an electronic voting conference from the IEC where they sort of looked at the possibility of voting online or voting electronically, because we know we use paper to vote. We are a paper-based system. So the IEC has looked at electronic voting. They are still considering it. However, they've ruled it out of its being used in the upcoming elections. And just lastly, John, on those dates, as you said, the possible window is from the 2nd of November to the 30th of January 2027. And those months each represent sort of a problem for the IEC. November, as you said, there are exams, and we know that the IEC, about 60% of voting stations are schools, so that's a bit of a problem. December is pretty much, I think, out of the question.
Yes.
These are local government elections. You have to vote where you are, and for people like me, I'll be back in Durban, and most people around the country won't be actually where they live. And for January, it's also another huge issue is that, as we said, 500 new political parties, they have to print the ballots. And if you're going to have elections in January, that means you're going to have to start printing your ballots in December, where a lot of printing companies will be closed for business. So those are just some of the highlights from today's media briefing.
Yeah, a bag full of real challenges, but thank you. And I must admit, it is good to start having these conversations now. And I would say credit to the IEC holding a briefing and putting some of these thorny things on the table right now. So, yeah, we'll have to come back to the question of the when and the how on a regular basis as we move deeper into 2026. Of course, it is still 2025. It's a lot we've got to get done before then. It's coming up now for 29 minutes to 4. Right, let's get the very latest eyewitness news now. Mbali Dlamini, down to Parliament we go.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. That's correct. Deputy Police Minister Pholi Bushielo has told Parliament that she thought the directive to disband the political killings task team was fake. Bushielo has been giving evidence before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption today. Last week, her fellow Deputy Minister Kasal Matale also told the committee that he initially doubted the authenticity of the directive by Minister Senzo Mchunu on New Year's Eve last year. Londense reports.
Deputy Minister Pholi Bushielo took the stand before the ad hoc committee, where she was also grilled about the disbanding of the political killings task team. Like most witnesses thus far, Bushielo says she wasn't aware of Senzo Mchunu's directive and only saw it on social media. She says Mchunu called her to confirm it wasn't fake.
I became aware of the minister's letter and directive, which was issued on the 31st of December 2024. While it was circulating in the social media, and I assumed it was fake until when the minister called me in the early January around 6-7 to inform me that the letter that was circulating was not fake. He wrote it himself.
Bushielo says she couldn't object or express her views on the directive because Mchunu has executive authority and used his powers accordingly. Londense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Let's stay in Parliament, where auditing firm PricewaterhouseCoopers insists it played no role in advising the Road Accident Fund to change its accounting standard, which has been ruled invalid by the High Court. A partner at the firm, Johan van Heesteen, has delivered brief testimony to Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts today. He says the firm believed the decision had already been taken by the board once PwC was hired to advise on its implementation. Lindsay Dentlinger takes a look.
Johan van Heesteen has told Scoper's inquiry into maladministration at the RAF that he was not the one who engaged with the fund in 2021 when it requested a quotation and subsequently hired PricewaterhouseCoopers at a cost of almost 800,000 rand 2 weeks later. Committee Chairperson Zongezo Zibi was suspicious of the timeline of events, while Van Heesteen struggled to produce evidence of how PwC ascertained the board had approved the change in accounting policy before it was hired.
PwC was actually not required to advise at all in making that decision or in the decision to apply IPSAS 42.
MPs felt Van Heesteen was not the right person to answer their questions and that he was being assisted too much by the attorneys who accompanied him. The committee says it will now aim to obtain evidence from the former PwC partner who dealt directly with the matter, but who has since retired. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And further afield, the death toll from heavy rain in Vietnam has risen to 40. A week of flooding and record rain battered the region, and experts fear the devastation could continue, with Typhoon Kalamagi expected to make landfall in the early hours of Friday morning. Vietnam is prone to heavy rain between June and September, and scientists say human-caused climate change is making the situation worse. The disaster agency says nearly 80,000 homes have been flooded, more than 10,000 hectares of crops have been destroyed, and more than 60,000 cattle have been killed. It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today, with showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees.
Sunwood Park, Boksburg area heading towards Brakpan. We still have those roadworks causing huge delays. This is on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. Also roadworks Devland on the Golden Highway, slowing down traffic between the N1 and Union Avenue. And in Kelvin, heading towards Alex Germiston, roadworks slowing down traffic on the N3 southbound between the Butler Interchange and London Road.
The top story in EWN, Deputy Police Minister Pholi Bushielo has told Parliament that she thought the directive to disband the political killings task team was fake.
Clement Maniatela.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Has this system of tenders really served us?
I don't think so.
So why are we not changing it?
Clement, that is beyond my pay grade because it depends on the chief procurement officer, treasury, etc. I personally, I'll be very happy if we look at another system, for instance, we are going to buy 1.4 million articles in hospital. As a chairperson of the National Health Council, I demanded that we don't go for a tender.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.
Clement Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
Remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fibre, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You're late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
This November, join the #Glass Recycling Challenge and help collect 280 tons of glass across Joburg, Pretoria and Cape Town in glass recycling banks. Catch 702 in conversation with the Glass Recycling Company this Thursday. Discover how recycling glass reduces waste, creates jobs and builds a circular economy. Don't miss 702 in conversation with the Glass Recycling Company this Thursday on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Brown Mahzi thinks we are all from Northwest. According to SABC News, 3 bullets have hit driver's seat. There's no blood. He never got injured. This guy behaves like a slave queen. He really loves spotlight. I don't even know why are we entertaining this nonsense of Brown Mahzi.
Hi, Karabo. Just to let you know, I'm driving on the N1 North, but opposite on the N1 South between Allendale Road as well as Olifantsfontein. The traffic is really backed up there. We don't know what the issue is.
Hi, Dr. John. Hi, 702. Talking about pictures that are memorable. I've got one specific one that is from nursery school when I was still staying in Sebokeng Zone 3. And my grandmother planned a birthday party for me and bought my first ever ice cream cake, which was like so wow. I don't think I've even had ice cream cake after that. But on that particular day, I insisted on having 2 of the girls sit next to me. And I made a big fuss about it until they did. So to this day, I've never been able to have 2 women sit next to me at my birthday. So it's very memorable. And I just, it reminds me a lot of what my grandmother used to do for me as well. Molefe from Roodepoort.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Molefe. And it's interesting, favorite pictures of oneself invariably involve stories about other people as well, who may or may not be in the picture. So if you're just wondering what Molefe was telling us about, I just asked you, please, to tell us, describe for us, your favorite picture of yourself. Really like to hear from you on that on 072 702 1702. And if you want to chat, 011 883 0702. It's 20 to 4.
EWN Sport.
Right, the very latest from the world of sport with Tolakele Mganga. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John, and we start with some live cricket where South Africa are batting first in their ODI against Pakistan. They're currently at the crease on 260 for the loss of 8 in the 49th over. Batting is Kurban Bosch on 39 alongside Lungingiti on 0. In team news, Devard Brevis has been ruled out of the 3-match series due to a low-grade shoulder muscle strain. He'll undergo rehab in preparation for the upcoming Test tour of India, while his replacement will be announced in due course. Switching over to the Bedway Premiership, where we have 4 games scheduled this evening, including Kaizer Chiefs against Orbit College. As they look to involve themselves in the title race, Inacio Miguel has discussed the importance of the team's senior players leading from the front.
Be a massive role from us senior players to manage these young talents that are coming now. We have a lot of players with experience in these CAF competitions, and I think to mix these youngsters and the experience, it will bring the best of us in terms of team. Of course, that it will be a challenge to put them with the feet on the ground and understand that we didn't achieve nothing yet. We have a long road to go, but I think we can do it with this mix of youngsters and the experienced players.
It's match day 4 in the UEFA Champions League, and the pick of the games will see holders PSG up against Bayern Munich, while Liverpool hosts Real Madrid. That clash will see Trent Alexander-Arnold return to Anfield, and his current head coach Xabi Alonso has discussed his expectations ahead of it.
You know, he has to have his own feelings and he has to enjoy it as well his own way. So I'm not going to tell him how he needs to feel it. His history is a little bit different from mine. He's born and bred in Liverpool. He's coming for the first team, winning the Champions League. So he deserves to enjoy that moment because it's nice to be back, and for him it's going to be nice.
Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie says it's not guaranteed that Kyalami will host a Formula One race if South Africa is successful in being added to the calendar. The bid steering committee will meet with the sports governing body at the end of January next year as they ramp up their attempts to be one of the stops during the 2027 season.
Corporate South Africa has come through with 2.1 billion, but we have subsequently learned that there's still other issues. The discussion is not final that it's going to be Kalam. Different cases are being made by other provinces, including Free State has put in, and Cape Town has come with a very compelling bid. F1 was clear. Sort out your house issues where this thing is going to be. When we meet you in January.
And world number 1 Anya Sabalenka will face Nick Kyrgios in a Battle of the Sexes exhibition match in the UAE later this year. Kyrgios will go into that clash having only played 5 matches this year. That's since he returned from a serious wrist injury that kept him out for 18 months. Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, 17 minutes to 4. Roads should be getting busy. Karabo Chali is very busy.
Yeah.
Making sure that he can tell you which roads are busy. Good afternoon.
Well, regarding that voice note that we received earlier, John, I can concur that there's an accident scene. This is on the N1 southbound near the Bethlehem interchange. This is already causing about a 20-minute delay all the way from Allendale. So if you are on that route, so try to avoid it. If you are traveling towards Allendale, get off Allendale Road and use the R55 or Old Pretoria Road as alternatives. There's also slow-moving traffic due to roadworks in the Calvin area. This is on the N3 southbound between the Bethlehem interchange and London Road. So again, if you're traveling from Midrand towards the Germiston area, rather use the M1 via Sandton. Hopefully that will save you some time. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Devland area due to roadworks on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue in Bryanston. Slow-moving traffic heading into 4 ways. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Main and the N1. And finally, in Sunwood Park, Boksburg, roadworks also causing huge delays heading towards Brakpan. That's on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we asked you to describe your favorite picture of yourself. Some of you, instead of describing it, have sent it to us. I'll do my best with a description of Mornay in Paris. Looks like a gorgeous day. Blue sky with some cloud, but pretty perfect. Spring, summer, I would guess, with the Eiffel Tower in the background. A memorable trip, I would assume. And then Mpeforeng has sent us a picture of himself looking really, really relaxed in a very classy-looking golf shirt. He's wearing a cap. And judging from the chairs and the fact that there are kind of apricot-colored balloons in the background, some kind of celebration, some kind of family celebration perhaps. But, yeah, just looking Very, very chilled indeed. Your favorite photo of yourself, Tolakele, do you have one, and how would you describe it?
I have quite a few, but my favorite one I posted every year around my brother's birthday. It's this picture of me graduating from grade R, and then I'm wearing this orange two-piece, and then I'm standing like in an L pose because I was holding a gift and like I had my graduation cap on, and then literally you can see my mother just looking at me going, "What are you doing?" And then my brother's also there on the side like doing his own little pose, because we have another picture of him wearing the same outfit where it's just the two of us, and then I'm wearing like this cute like sunflower dress in the middle of our garden, and then you can see like our late dog in the background as well. So those two are my two favorite pictures of myself.
Very, very nice. They sound great. So I had to compile pictures of myself because I put together an invitation for my 60th birthday, which was made up of rows of pictures, all, some from when I was probably 1 or 2 up to most recent times. So I've struggled to pick one, but it shows me probably at the age of around 30-something, sitting with one of my nieces in the Letaba rest camp at Rea Park. So it's a nice memory of a place I like going. And we both just look really content, really relaxed. And I have a big head of thick black hair, which was nice while it lasted. I'll post it. I'll put it on the X feed at Radio 702 when I get a minute. There were some other candidates as well. But favorite picture of yourself, please either describe it or send it to us. We've got one from Greg sitting on a horse, but facing backwards. Stylish. Very nice. Normsa says, I'm old school. I studied in the rural areas. We didn't have such. Okay. Please send those pictures or send us your description. Voice notes, if you like, to 072 702 1702. It's 12 minutes now to 4.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Now, Anna Cox has written a really quite startling story that was published on the Daily Maverick website. And it's all to do with the fact that literally millions of building plans are locked up in the Metro Centre basement at the City of Johannesburg. Now, the Metro Centre is in disuse because of security and safety issues. There was a fire in 2023, as you may recall. There are some 2 million records, and these are absolutely essential. She makes plain in the story people wanting to make changes to properties that they own need to submit building plans. People who want to transfer property find themselves stymied for very, very similar reasons. It's a big problem. So what are the practical implications of this? And by the way, if you've been caught up in that quagmire, do give us a call on 011 883 0702, or just drop us a short version by voice note or text on our WhatsApp line to outline what you've experienced on 072 702 1702. But let's look at the bigger picture, and welcome to the show Julian Scher, who's an attorney and director at Strauss Scher Inc. Mr. Scher, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. It sounds from Anna's descriptions that this is a really severe problem. What are the practical manifestations for you as lawyers and as your clients? Good afternoon.
Hello, John. Good afternoon to you. Yeah, look, I've read Anna's article, and I think it's hauntingly accurate. There are a couple of perhaps misconceptions about what building plans are required for purposes of the transfer of a property or the registration of a bond. And I think it's important to make this clear. There is no legal requirement for the seller of a property to be in possession of approved building plans. And in other words, if you own a house and you can live in that house, you must have an occupation certificate for your house, and that is something that the municipality will issue once the building plans are approved and the house has been constructed and they're satisfied that it's been properly completed. They issue what's called an occupation certificate, and you need that because of insurance purposes. But as a rule, banks in granting bonds do not ask the conveyancers or the parties to produce building plans or approve building plans.
Great.
And it's not a requirement in law that a conveyancer has got to actually have a copy of approved building plans. Where the confusion comes in is the Property Practitioners Act, where a property practitioner effectively an estate agent, gets the seller to sign a property condition report. And in there, the seller says, I do or I don't have building plans. And if there aren't building plans, sometimes the buyer wants to have building plans. And, that's a contractual term. So in the past, the seller would go down to the municipal offices and produce their identification and proof that they own the property. And the municipality would then provide them with a copy of their building plans, the approved building plans.
Straightforward, eh?
Straightforward. Now, today, a few years ago, as you said in your introduction, there was a fire in that building. And my understanding, it was on one of the floors. It might have been a generator or a transformer or something that caught fire. But the building is by no means derelict in the sense it's still standing. If you go and look at it from the outside, there might have been an internal fire. But that caused almost a frenzy of excitement with wanting to build themselves a new municipal head office. And there were numbers being bandied around of 3 billion rand for new offices. The long and short of it is they've all moved out. So there's nobody in the building. And they're scattered all over the city. A large number of these municipal officials don't even go to work anymore. They work from home.
Right.
And so the whole ability of the city to provide building plans, and it gets a little bit more scary, and that's in the question of occupation certificates.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do have a building plan and it is approved and you build your house now and you then go to the city and ask for an occupation certificate, I'm not so sure how effective or efficient they are in issuing those either. And certainly insurance companies will require an occupation certificate for purposes of insuring a house more often than not. So the whole thing has knock-on effects through the whole industry. The municipality it's frankly, John, it's a disgrace. It really, really is. It's become dysfunctional in many respects, that being only one of the issues.
So, I mean, we hear all the time, Mr. Sher, about plans for Joburg to become this vibrant hub of economic activity. Whether you have a specific need or not at a particular time, in general, surely cities that thrive absolutely have to have this kind of service available on a click basis. I mean, if you are planning to buy a commercial premises and you want to expand it, maybe you buy 2 premises, you want to knock through the wall of one and make a much larger, be it a restaurant or a law firm, you are very much dependent, I would think, of being able to access these services. And if you can't, I would have thought commerce and industry and people striving for prosperity are going to find themselves absolutely stymied. Do we still have Julian? Julian?
You do?
Yes, sorry. Did you hear my question?
I did perfectly.
Yes.
The municipality is a creature. It is required to implement a whole lot of laws dealing with one of the issues is buildings and approval of buildings and how buildings are built in compliance with regulation. That's part of one of its functions under the Constitution. And to do that, it had traditionally mechanisms which worked. They might have been cumbersome. Certainly in other municipalities, and I don't want to push anything with Cape Town, but I can give you a personal anecdote. My daughter has an apartment in Cape Town, and they needed some building plans. The building was built in 1973.
Yes.
And it took the city 4 weeks to give them the plans, but they got the plans. There they were from 1973, duly stamped. They got copies issued by the municipality. So that's what a municipality is supposed to do. It's one of its municipal functions. It's got to ensure that buildings are built in accordance with the zoning,
yes,
the land use, so people don't just build and do all sorts of things on property that's unlawful in terms of a town planning scheme. It's got the National Building Regulations and Standards Act. It's got to make sure that buildings are built in accordance with the correct requirements and standards and engineering standards. All of those things it has to monitor.
Thank you so much, Julian Sher, Attorney and Director at Strauss Sher Inc. If you've had problems related to access to building plans, and if you found a solution, by the way, share both of them with us, 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
together.
Did you discuss policy?
We discussed policy. Policy will be in terms of the statement of intent that we already agreed on, because we're not that we're going to cover up for everyone, found one another, we're going to work together, we're going to support one another. Although I have major differences with the DA and the PA, I just have to find a way to tolerate them, to accommodate them, and to smile.
Hanif Hendrik.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9, featuring Happier. Their CEO, Gift Nkuna, will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. Join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702. Let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Norman, describe this piece of land for me, please.
An iconic site right adjacent to Nelson Mandela Square. As you move through the library area, the land extends all the way through to the Gautrain, where the entrance of the Gautrain is. You don't get a vast piece of land of about 4 hectares, Sandton City, which I believe is the capital of Africa.
Norman Rath, CEO of Roll Auctions and Sales.
The Money Show.
The Money Show.
On K-Talk.
Join the conversation.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, advancing Red Rocket's ambitions with Discovery Green as the off-taker to power Africa's future through affordable, renewable energy.
Live extra with Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket. Save big on deals like Sir Fruit 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litres. Any 2 for 89 Rand. Clover Butro full cream modified butter spread, 500 grams, 2 for 159 Rand. And Omo detergent capsules, 20 or 22 per pack, any 2 for 199 Rand. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
How's it, Butch? It's Jason here, your favorite gymfluencer.
Jason, still lifting more than your selfie stick?
Always, Butch. Gotta stay shredded, eh? But, I'm worried about one thing. What if a major illness hits? Who's got my back?
Relax, Jason. Momentum's critical illness cover is your spotter. It offers the most comprehensive cover in the market.
Woody, I'm signing up faster than I could do 10 reps. But I'm worried about something else, eh?
Let me guess. How many protein shakes it takes before you turn into the incredible bulk?
No, man. Will anyone notice if I skip a leg day?
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John and team. Brown Mokhotsi's story doesn't make sense because it's false. It's falsely, it's just a delay tactics of him not going to appear. He just want to delay the matters for him to appear. Simple as that. He went and bought the car, and then he probably opened the door, allegedly opened the door, shoot on his side, put on the other side, and then call the police and say, hey, I've been attacked. There's no way a bullet can press through the door to your own driver's side, and then you don't get hit. Hi, delaying tactics.
I think Mr. Mokhosi is not one of the most intelligent crooks south of the equator. He is clearly good at collecting money, but not at creating issues. He is just trying to create a cover-up here. It's all fake news. It's Joe in Edenvale.
On that subject, by the way, we had an earlier message saying that Brian Mokhosi mustn't think that we're all from the Northwest or something similar. I'm paraphrasing, to which Alfred responds, says, please ask that caller to keep the conversation as civil as possible. Deal with Brian Mokhosi alone and leave the people of Northwest out of this. He is not the rep for Northwest. Fair point made there. Yeah, I think fair point made. So thank you for all of those calls. I've been asking you for your favorite pictures of yourselves, and we're getting some absolutely great ones. Just got one from Masterpiece. Please tell me where you bought the jacket. Maybe I shouldn't wear the jacket because I'm not sure I could wear it as you. But thank you. Wonderful pictures. We're going to share things that people have sent and describe them for you as best they can. But if you want to describe it for yourself, do it as a voice note and a picture if you like. 072 702 1702. It's gone 4 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Police continue probe into Rea Park shooting with 1 arrest made and over 500 parties registered as SA gears up for local government elections. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Gauteng police have not ruled out the possibility of more arrests linked to the mass shooting which left 6 people dead in Rea Park at the weekend. This after police arrested a 23-year-old suspect for his alleged involvement in the drive-by shooting in the Ekurhuleni township at the weekend. Gauteng's anti-gang unit nabbed the suspect last night following an intense manhunt. Following the deadly shooting, Gauteng authorities vowed to dispatch additional resources to clamp down on crime in Rea Park. Police spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuhului says the suspect is expected to appear in court tomorrow.
Major General Kekana has applauded the team for their relentless efforts and further thanked the community for their cooperation and working together in ensuring that the suspects are arrested.
Let's stay in Ekurhuleni. There is still some uncertainty with the facts around an alleged attempted hit on controversial businessman Brown Mahzi. 3 bullets struck the driver and passenger seats of the vehicle. He says he was traveling in last night, but he emerged unscathed. Mahzi alleges that unknown assailants driving a white bakkie attacked him in Vosloorus in Ekurhuleni last night. The red Chevrolet, which Mahzi was supposedly driving at the time, is now at the Vosloorus police station where ballistic experts are examining it. The Northwest businessman is at the center of allegations of police corruption. Alfara Mashwana reports.
Police ballistic experts have used trajectory rods, which are yellow sticks inserted into bullet holes on the red Chevrolet, to determine the direction from which the shots were fired. The rods clearly show that 2 bullets struck the driver's seat and continued to hit the back seat, while 1 bullet hit the passenger seat and exited through the back door. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate says Brown Mahzi was not hit by any bullets, despite evidence showing that 3 bullets struck the front seats.
We know that he was uninjured, unwounded, and he is well, probably traumatized as he alleges, but for now, no injuries. No wounds to his body.
11 cartridges were recovered from the scene of Mahzi's alleged shooting. The controversial businessman was asked by police to open a case last night but refused to do so. Police ended up opening an attempted murder case. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Vosloorus.
To this now, CCTV footage showing a possible shady deal between a police officer and Sandton businessman Katiso Katie Molefe has been shared with the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Sergeant F.E. Nkosi, a member attached to the Organised Crime Unit in Gauteng, has been identified as the cop. Nkosi was previously named as the alleged middleman in money dealings between suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya and criminal accused tender tycoon Vusimuzi Matlala. Last week, witnesses alleged that Sibiya was paid millions in cash on several occasions by Matlala, with Nkosi collecting the money in some instances. Oren Singh has more.
On November 27th last year, shortly after 4 p.m., Sergeant F.E. Nkosi is seen arriving at the luxury Sandhurst home of murder-accused Katiso Katie Molefe. 9 minutes later, Nkosi is seen being escorted by Molefe back to his state vehicle, a white BMW, while carrying a large white paper bag. Whatever's contained in the bag doesn't seem to be weighing Nkosi down. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo alludes to the contents of the bag possibly being bribe money.
The picture is like he just came in to collect something that was already packed and waiting for pickup.
10 days after Nkosi's visit to Molefe's home, Molefe was arrested by members of GCI Ops and the Political Killings Task Team in a takedown operation that was riddled with interference by the Hawks. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
With about a year to go to the local government elections, the Electoral Commission says there are 508 registered political parties in the country. At least 62 of them were registered just after last year's elections. This was revealed during the IEC's media briefing in Centurion today, where it updated the public on its preparedness for the upcoming polls. IEC Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Masego Shiburi says the Commission expects to register more political parties as the elections edge closer.
In preparation for next year's election, the Commission has started a series of information and liaison sessions with unrepresented political parties, aspirant independent candidates, to share information on, among other things, the requirements to contest, how votes are translated into seats, and how to go about to register a party.
And in Rome, the prosecutor's office has opened an investigation into the collapse of a medieval tower. This after authorities confirmed the death of a worker who was trapped after parts of that tower collapsed. The 66-year-old was pulled out nearly 12 hours after a section of the tower on the edge of the famous Roman Forum and close to the Colosseum gave way. Officials say his heart stopped in the ambulance, and doctors at the hospital that he was rushed to were unable to save him. He was part of a team carrying out conservation work at the building, which has been empty and abandoned for many years. Gold is trading at $3,993.94 an ounce. The rand is at 17.50 to the dollar, 22.83 to the pound, 20.08 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Accident scene Midrand N1 South before the platoons change, causing huge delays all the way from Olifantsfontein Road. Avoid that route at all costs. Rather use the R55 or Old Pretoria Road. In Sunwood Park, Boksburg roadworks also causing huge delays on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City.
In your sport, Quinton de Kock top scores with 63 as South Africa are all out for 263. That's in their first ODI against Pakistan. Gayton McKenzie says Bafana are under-resourced as he closes the chapter on yellow card debacle. And Lucy Bronze and Lamine Yamal make history after being named in FIFPro's World 11.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with afternoon thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 14 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 14 degrees at a high of 28, and Vereeniging 15 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Gauteng police have not ruled out the possibility of more arrests linked to the mass shooting which left 6 people dead in Rea Park at the weekend.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 4. Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us for the second hour of the show. Coming up over the next 30 minutes or so, Oren Singh takes us into the Madlanga Commission. A really remarkable day today, I think, from everything that I was able to hear. Dumisani Khumalo, General Khumalo, Head of Crime Intelligence, with some quite startling information put before the Commission. Do I call them allegations, evidence? I think I'll just settle on a middle ground and call it information for the moment. What he's had to say about some of those instances, not one but two, where he and his team were trying to do their work on the one hand and other arms of the police were interfering on the other. Yeah, as I said, pretty startling stuff. Oren Singh with details of that. And then in partnership with Standard Bank, we've been focusing on doing business with China. It's a series we call China Unlocked. We do it every week. And we're going to look at agricultural exports and agro-processing and how people involved in that space might access the Chinese market. All of that and more coming up on 7:02 Drive. It's 10 past 4.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, I'm just listening to some of those calls about Brian Mokwetsi. It's obvious that it is a delaying tactic. And given all the money he's got and how he operates politically and how he is a puppet master, no wonder he went and bought a cheap little car. He would never be seen dead, excuse the expression, in that car. That car cost him 50 or 60K. They pumped it full of holes, and apparently he was shot at. Do you think a man like him would drive a car like that?
So, those are all valid questions. My understanding from Alpha Ramushwana's account, and Alpha's out in Vosloorus, so at any time we might get updates from him. We'll listen out for those on the news, perhaps bring him back onto the show. But he was saying that people in the area who engaged with Mr. Mokgotsi said that his explanation for the, let's just call it what it is, the modest and less than modest vehicle he was driving, is that there have been threats on his life, people threatening him know his vehicles, and he was trying to go about his business in an inconspicuous way. Now, I'm not saying that that's a satisfactory answer to that question, because there are other questions as well. But I am saying the man has offered an explanation. So, in fairness, let me just share it with you. It's 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get out onto the roads, find out what's happening. Midrand N1 delays going north, going south.
Well, these delays are going northbound. This is heading towards Pretoria between the Bethlehem to Change and Olifantsfontein Road. Some good news. Still in Midrand, we had that accident seen on the N1 south. That's before the Bethlehem to Change. Now it has been cleared and traffic should be back to normal shortly. Sunwood Park, Boksburg roadworks causing huge delays. This is on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City, while in Devlin, roadworks also causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Calvin, also roadworks causing more than a 30-minute delay. This is on the N3 southbound. This is between the Bethlehem to Change and London Road. And John, we received a voice note of issues, apparent road closures in the Braamfontein area. This is approaching the intersection of Jan Smuts and Empire. Let's have a listen.
Dr. John, what's happening at Empire? They are closing or they're shutting down the entire Empire. Corner Empire and Jan Smart. 4 robots are shut down and there's police everywhere and all cars are being rerouted. What is happening? There's no update and now it's rush hour. Can we please be updated?
Yes, I'm busy trying to get in contact with Golani Fihla from JMPD. He hasn't been answering, but I'll keep on trying. So hopefully, if you're also on that route, if you have any information, you can let us know. WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Aubrey Masango. Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I don't always agree with AfriForum. I think they need to be thanked for their stance against NERSA. NERSA has been making certain decisions about electricity tariffs that have simply not been within the framework of the law in as far as consultation with you and I, the people that must pay these new tariffs. AfriForum, they took the fight to NERSA and to the courts in the proper way. It is wrong for NERSA to simply make decisions, and these guys have been getting away with murder, quite literally.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Get ready, South Africa. Mzansi Ballet proudly presents Sean Bovim's Private Presley the Ballet, a spectacular reimagining of the life and legend of Elvis Presley. From his military days to his greatest loves, experience the king of rock and roll's story told through breathtaking dance. Starring international ballet sensation George Wade from Mexico as Elvis and South Africa's own prima ballerina Angela Revy as Priscilla. Beautiful singers Logan James and Patience Mahema bring some of his unforgettable songs to life. Don't miss this wonderful tribute on stage at Peter Turin Theatre, Monte Cassino, 24 October to 30 November. Book now at Web Tickets.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Punches Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million rand jackpot when you bet 5 rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend. and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 Rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
This year, the City of Gold will be welcoming 19 countries for the G20, happening for the first time in South Africa. And tomorrow, I'll be talking to Thabiso Gulashe from Santam. He'll discuss the importance of this sponsorship, Santam's involvement in the G20 Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group, and other Santam initiatives and programs. Don't miss the conversation on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman, tomorrow between 3 and 6 p.m. Let's walk the talk.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So I'm getting some really wonderful photographs from people. They really are. I'm going to do my best to describe them. Sisupo has sent me a picture. I don't know how I'm going to describe this. There's a woman in a really beautiful orange outfit with an orange headdress. It's a dark shade of orange. She's wearing some kind of cloak in African print material. She's carrying in her left hand a shepherd's crook. There seems to be a waterfall and some rocks in the background. I don't know if that's actual or something that's been derived from the photographic process. And then in her right arm is a very small child, looks to me 1 year old, maybe even a little bit younger. He's wearing the same print. He's got a headdress on, which looks to me like it's made of impala skin, and then a shield. And they both look absolutely serene and settled and happy together. It's a glorious picture. Then I mentioned Masterpiece in his jacket. He's wearing a red jacket. It looks to me in some kind of shwe material. Skinny jeans, which he looks good in, and some cowboy-style boots and a tie. I can't really see the tie. Shades on top of his head complete the picture, and it looks like he is either at his home or somebody else's. Your favorite photo of yourself, please, 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 18 minutes past 4.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Oren, a very good afternoon to you. Oren Singh has been covering the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry for us. And General Dumisani Kumalo, Head of Crime Intelligence, the bits I heard, I mean, I don't know if we can keep saying, bombshells being dropped and so on, but some of the stuff is really, really quite extraordinary. I'm not sure where you're going to start and what you're going to pick out, because I would think there are quite a few starting points, and a careful filter will maybe help you to pick out the most important bits. But much said about the arrest scenes on the one hand of Katiso Katie Molefe, which has been canvassed, and also some details of attempts to, I don't know if an arrest was envisaged with Kat Matlala, but certainly the police wanted to engage with him.
John, I think we'll start off on the evidence that was presented to the commission in forms of CCTV cameras footage, as well as pictures. Seeing is believing in this day and age. In the age of AI, I think it's important that people get to see this. And that's what the public was furnished with in the Madlanga Commission today, in that we saw a certain police officer, a Sergeant F.E. Nkosi, who forms part of organized crime in Gauteng, at the home of Katiso Katie Molefe in November last year. And this was just 10 days before Molefe was arrested in that operation by counterintelligence and the political killings task team. And he arrives at the home, and we see him then collect a white paper bag and be escorted into the state vehicle that he was driving. So that was quite shocking to see, this officer meeting with someone who within 10 days would be charged with murder and arrested. But fast forward, and we see the same white BMW at the home of Deputy or suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya at that raid of a search and seizure raid at his home last month.
Yes.
I'm sure people will recall that there was a search and seizure operation at Sibiya's compound, and we see Sibiya jumping into a white Toyota Hilux, and just behind him is this white BMW. It's the same BMW that Sergeant F.E. Nkosi was driving on the day he met at Katiso's home, and it follows Sibiya on several occasions. They pull up CCTV camera footage that they've got from certain cameras throughout Joburg, and they show that not far behind, wherever you see this white Toyota Hilux, you see this white BMW. So suggesting, and Khumalo painting the picture, that this was someone that was very close to Sibiya, often seen in close proximity to him, following him possibly when he was going to meetings and so forth, and kind of painting the picture that if Sergeant Nkosi was driving this white BMW and collecting possible bribe money, it could have been for Sibiya himself. That was the picture that Khumalo was trying to paint before the Madlanga Commission today.
Oren, you've engaged with us before about evidence presented by witnesses saying that this is what happened at the attempted arrest of Katie Molefe. I noticed that General Khumalo was going over a lot of that ground again. Anything that confirmed or consolidated anything that previous witnesses had put forward to the commission?
Very much a rehash of what witness A, B, and C brought to the fore before the commission 2 weeks ago. And I think that was up to date, some of the most explosive testimony that we've heard and evidence that has been put forward, but still a lot of allegations up in the air regarding the monies that Sibiya himself received. And how do you verify that? We heard on several occasions Sibiya received at least 3.5 million rand in cash from Vusi Musi Kat Matlala. But how does the commission now take this forward in verifying that? And I think there's only one way that they can do that, John, is to possibly look at bank records from cash withdrawals from Vusi Musi's accounts and possibly a lifestyle audit on Shadrack Sibiya himself. But nevertheless, there's serious allegations that have to be proven, and by just saying, I accepted R1 million cash from John,
yes,
can't be taken seriously. Not at least within the Madlanga Commission's scope of things.
Oren Singh, a busy day at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. It is getting very, very interesting indeed. And of course, it's going to be really important when other people who are named in all of these proceedings, including some people. There was a certain Mr. Mtetwa who, when General Khumalo was asked for more details about him, he was on the scene of Katie Molefe's address. He said he can only describe him as an associate, but investigations are underway that may implicate this person as well. So there we are. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry down in Parliament. I see ad hoc commission still underway, and Deputy Minister Boshielo, Deputy Minister of Police, is currently answering questions. 23 minutes past 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Now, I said we were going to talk about trade with China. China Unlocked is brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial. Unlock China for your business. Find partners, cut costs, and grow. China is a major market for food imports, meaning South Africa can position itself as a reliable supplier while developing regional value chains in agro-processing. This week on China Unlocked, the conversation is about the ACTS export solution, which will strengthen agricultural exports and agri-processing capacity. Joining us today is Lutando Vuba, the head of international trade, business and commercial banking at Standard Bank. And he will describe in more detail exactly how this works right here on 702. Mr. Vuba, welcome. And thanks very much for your time. The ACTS export solution, how does it work and how can businesses leverage what it has to offer? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. It's a good evening from here in Shanghai, where we are with clients that will be exhibiting at the China International Import Expo. So Africa-China Trade Solutions composes of both helping our clients with importing from China, but also with exporting to China. And that's what really encompasses our X solution. And how we help our clients access the Chinese market is by doing it through a number of ways. One of those is digitally connecting them to vetted Chinese buyers. We also organize B2B matchmaking sessions, virtual, some are hybrid. And when we attend some of the flagship shows such as CIE, we also organize these physical in-person B2B matchmaking with these Chinese buyers. And over the past 6 years of us coming here and enabling this for African entrepreneurs, we've rebuilt the brand of being known for African products, good African products, quality African products. And so we've really seen a growth in the interest in African products, particularly those of the countries that we bring to this expo.
Tell us a bit more, Mr. Vuba, about the agro-processing aspects of this, because obviously we know that China's appetite for raw materials of all kinds are voracious, and some agricultural products are exported in their raw form. But clearly Standard Bank has an optimism that we could be adding value in our country and within our region before sending stuff off to China. Tell us a little bit more about where your optimism is rooted.
Certainly, John. What we've seen is really driven by both the population growth that China has had over the past decades, but also the growing middle class and therefore spending power base that you have in the China market. There's been a bit of demand for more a variety of products, healthier food products, which markets such as South Africa has quite an advantage to play in terms of not just agro-processing, but agro-processing around specialized food, whether it's the healthier foods, organic foods, or even when you cater to the vegan, vegetarian palates. And so what we're seeing as trends that have shifted in the Chinese consumer over the past 5 years is more demand for healthier food products. We've seen them move away from the traditional rice wine consumption to red wine and white wine, a growing interest in white wine. As an example, also when it comes to the fruits, a popularity has spun on avocado, not just to consume it, but also using it as an input products across a range of different output products. And therefore, that analysis and insight is where we really see this opportunity for agro-processing, because certainly, as you've alluded, a lot of raw material is exported out of Africa.
Yes.
And we look at South Africa, what it exports to China, it's dominated by that. But there's an opportunity for us to look at very targeted products to add value in. We see cosmetics as an opportunity. We see some consumer packaged product as a big opportunity. And there's a huge demand for our citrus and nuts. But I think further afield, when it comes to other more nuanced products such as, like chicken feet, which is a delicacy in China.
Right.
It fetches quite a high price. So those are some of the insights that I think are opportunities for South African exporters, where those products are not necessarily high in demand or are deemed to be, high-end products.
Thank you so much, Lutando Vuba, joining us on the line from Shanghai at a trade fair. Right now, he's head of international trade at business and commercial banking at Standard Bank. We call it China Unlocked. We're going to do it every week and get some sense of what the commercial and trade opportunities are between our two countries. Unlock China's potential for your business right now. With zero tariffs on South African exports and world-class supply chain, China is open for growth. For over a decade, Standard Bank has helped entrepreneurs connect with trusted partners, manage risk, and deliver results end to end. Don't miss out. Speak to Standard Bank Business and Commercial Banking and unlock your next big opportunity. Do it today. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
EWN Business.
29 past 4, bit of a dive on the JSE today. Stephen Curtis What do you make of it? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, John, look, resources down again, and we're getting sort of contradictory signals in the market. Isn't that what the market's for? So that's really pushing the JSE All Share down. The All Share down 1.96% at 106,945. Industrials down 1.23. Financials down 1.25. Industrials down 0.95. And resources down 4.63% on the day. Led really by platinum, John. Platinum prices coming off. So Northern Valterra are down by around 7%. Some of the gold miners too. Gold Fields are down 5.2. Sibania's down nearly 5. Harmony Gold is down 4.86. But interestingly, some of the consumer shares. So Clicks is down 4.63. And the Foschini Group down again, down nearly 4%, John. They were down yesterday while Pepkor were up. So something going on in that space. The fintech company Optasia listing on the JSE today, priced at 19 Rand a share, was several times oversubscribed. It raised 6.5 billion Rand. It now has a market cap of 23.5 billion Rand. You may remember last week, First Rand snapped up a stake of 20.1% in Optasia. Also a good day for the JSE as an index, as a company, as some exchanges around the world are finding they're having fewer companies listing, so good news for them. British American Tobacco up 2.29%. Karoo finally bouncing after a couple of days of losses. They're up 1.6%. And then while Clicks is down, Dischem are up 1.38% on the day. In the US, just a reminder, they're in daylight savings time now, or they've come out of it, one of the two. They're in daylight savings time. The result, US markets just opening now, but future markets were down and sort of predicting that, in fact, there would be a sort of downbeat opening. That's after the CEO of Morgan Stanley and the CEO of Goldman Sachs both today said equity markets could be heading towards a drawdown. That's the word Reuters used. Other people use the word correction, which actually sounds a little scarier, but certainly people a little bit concerned about the valuations that we're seeing in tech markets. The gold price lower, $3,971.98. Platinum, $1,544.11. Brent crude $64.06. The rand to the dollar 17.49, to the euro 20.08, to the British pound 22.83. Stephen Crotis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Stephen back with us in about 55 minutes' time. It's 28 minutes to 5. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news. And Bali Dlamini, good afternoon to you.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. An Electoral Park police officer accused of murder has told the Johannesburg High Court he intends on applying for bail for a second time after it was revoked. Mandla Buthelezi appeared alongside his co-accused for pre-trial in that court today. He faces a string of charges related to the murder of his girlfriend, Chesney Kepler. It's alleged Buthelezi shot and killed Kepler in December last year after a domestic dispute. Kepler, who was a member of the Gauteng Crime Prevention Warden, worked alongside Buthelezi at the time of her death. Jabulile Mbata has more.
When Eldorado Park Station police officer Mandla Buthelezi was arrested, he was released on 20,000 Rand bail. In September this year, during his court appearance, he was rearrested and his bail revoked after police investigations revealed that he intimidated witnesses. His accomplice, Llewellyn Meyers, was charged with the attempted murder of witnesses and defeating the ends of justice. Today in court, Buthelezi's attorney, Spamandla Madinane, said they intend to attain bail again.
Chief number one has instructed me that I must bring a new bail application for him. I've discussed this with my Nana friend, and then we were looking at the 2nd of December.
Buthelezi faces charges of murder, attempted kidnapping, assault, and defeating the ends of justice. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
Auditing firm PricewaterhouseCoopers insists it played no role in advising the Road Accident Fund to change its accounting standard, which has been ruled invalid by the High Court. A partner at the firm, Johan van Heesten, has delivered brief testimony to Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts today. He says the firm believed the decision had already been taken by the board once PwC was hired to advise on its implementation. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Johan van Heesten has told Scopus inquiry into maladministration at the RAF that he was not the one who engaged with the fund in 2021 when it requested a quotation and subsequently hired PricewaterhouseCoopers at a cost of almost 800,000 Rand 2 weeks later. Committee Chairperson Zongezo Zibi was suspicious of the timeline of events, while Van Heestian struggled to produce evidence of how PwC ascertained the board had approved the change in accounting policy before it was hired.
PwC was actually not required to advise at all in making that decision or in the decision to apply Ipsos 42.
MPs felt Van Heestian was not the right person to answer their questions and that he was being assisted too much by the attorneys who accompanied him. The committee says it will now aim to obtain evidence from the former PwC partner who dealt directly with the matter but who has since retired. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. According to a family statement, Cheney died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He served as the vice for former U.S. President George W. Bush during 9/11 and wars in Afghanistan as well as Iraq. Bush has paid tribute to Cheney, describing him as a calm and steady presence in the White House amid great national challenges. He says he counted on him for his honest, forthright counsel, and he never failed to give his best. A partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 22 degrees.
Parktown heading towards the Joburg CBD, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. M1 South between Killarney Bends and the double-decker section. Also travelling towards Bedford View, that's leaving Edenvale. Slow-moving traffic. R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange. Sunward Park, Boksburg. Travelling towards Brakpan, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. On the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City due to ongoing roadworks.
The top story in EWN, an Eldorado Park police officer accused of murder has told the Johannesburg High Court he intends applying for bail for a second time after it was revoked.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Understanding surrogacy as a whole. We're joined by Dr. Paul Leroux, specialist in reproductive medicine.
There is an increasing demand for fertility services for various reasons. One of the main reasons is that women have children at a later stage in their lives now because women are setting up their families and getting financially secure. And as women get older, their egg quality decreases. So this makes the whole fertility process more difficult.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Congratulations to the latest Powerball Plus multi-millionaire who scooped over 6 million rand on Friday after playing on their banking app. Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 23 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday, and you could be next. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Pound or push or play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Itube is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
To any private bank worth the title, who you are and where you're headed matters. That's why at Investec, we'll get to know you and your goals so you can focus on building a better future for your family. If you earn 800,000 Rand per annum or more, you may qualify for Investec Private Banking, where you'll enjoy effortless digital capabilities backed by real people who understand you. We'll even switch your account for you. Now that's private banking.
Investec is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Investec, out of the ordinary.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani 6 now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la. Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani 6 and win. T's and C's apply.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavoured by Nando's, is on Saturday, 8 November at 5 o'clock. 5 p.m. that is. And this one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Josie My Josie. Choose 5K for fun or 10K for bragging rights. Not ready, not quite fit enough? Well, if you've sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes or climbed stairs when the power was out, you're trained. Getting there is easy via Gautrain to Park Station, then a free PRASA train to Ellis Park. Lace up, show up, and enter now at racepass.com.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Mganga with the very latest sports now. South Africa up against Pakistan in cricket. ODI time. What's happening?
Well, John, South Africa were all out for 263 and 49.1 overs of that first ODI against Pakistan. Quinton de Kock top scored with 63 as Luanda Pretorius added 57, while Abba Ahmed and Nasim Shah both took 3 wickets each for the home side. In response, they're currently at the crease on 29 without any loss after 5 overs, still requiring 235 runs for victory. Batting is Ayab on 8 alongside Zaman on 12. Switching over to football, where Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie says he's satisfied with SAFA's explanation regarding the yellow card debacle involving Teboho Mokoena during 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying. McKenzie risks being accused of political interference after writing a letter to the association demanding accountability for fielding an ineligible player against Lesotho, which resulted in a 3-point and 3-goal deduction.
Team manager Vincent Seka, who has taken responsibility for the oversight despite numerous extenuating circumstances. He was not present when the second card was issued, as he has left the field to fetch ice for the players. That extraordinary coincidence tells us something deeper, that our national team is operating under immense strain with far too few hands doing far too much work. Despite the tremendous progress on the field and positive results, Bafana are still under-resourced.
In the Bedway Premiership, Kaizer Chiefs could climb up to second place with a win over Orbit College in one of 4 games scheduled this evening. Inacio Miguel and his Glamour Boys teammates arrested a 4-match winless run after they edged Durban City 1-0 on Friday.
Pre-season, the camp, everything was done by the board, by the coaches in terms of try to understand each other better. And I think that's the biggest difference from last season to this season is to understand my teammate, what he needs, what the team needs. And I think that played a big role in our performance, not individually, but in terms of a team. I think we are growing. We have a long way to go still. We didn't achieve nothing yet, but I think we are closer than we were the last season.
Mikel Arteta admits he has a selection dilemma to deal with ahead of Arsenal's UEFA Champions League away game against Slavia Prague tonight. Declan Rice is 1 booking away from suspension, and with Bayern Munich next on the cards for the Gunners, Arteta may not want to risk him.
Yeah, but it comes as well with the situation of Subi. We know that Subi was on 2 yellows as well. So that's the competition. At some point, you might miss players in crucial games. Obviously, we're going to try to avoid that as much as possible, but it's part of the competition.
And Springbok assistant coach Felix Jones admits they don't know what to expect against France when the two nations clash this Saturday. Le Bleu haven't been in action since July, but majority of the players who were selected for those tests against New Zealand haven't made the cut for the Autumn Nations Series games.
Yeah, that does make things probably a little bit different in that the players who are watching from their most recent games are not necessarily the players that are going to play this weekend. I'm sure there will be some. But I think you can also see the direction which the team is going in because they're obviously very well coached. And you can see the slight changes in their game that they were trying to bring into effect quite successfully at times against New Zealand in New Zealand.
Tolakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes to 5. We got some problems out in Kelvin. Karabo Charlie with the details.
Yeah, roadworks are an issue here in Gauteng. We have several roadworks. Let me start in Kelvin, where they are causing about an hour delay on the N3 southbound between the Between to Change and London Road. In Devland, roadworks also causing delays heading into Eldorado Park. That's on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. In Sunwood Park, Boksburg, roadworks causing huge delays. This is heading towards Brakpan, N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. In Edenville, traveling towards Bedfordview, traffic is a bit sluggish. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Midrand, traffic pressure on the N1 southbound. This is between Allendale Road and the Between to Change due to an earlier accident. And finally, in Parktown, traveling towards the Joburg CBD, bumper-to-bumper traffic, M1 southbound between Killarney Bends and the double-decker section. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Tola Kelly, we're going to talk about something entirely different in a moment, but I just have to get your thoughts on what the sports minister had to say about his being satisfied with the SAFA explanation. I find it beyond belief to say that, well, the manager was away from the field of play because he was getting ice. I get the point he's making, that he shouldn't have to do that. But surely at the end of the game, you get a referee's report. You then look at those referees' reports, not straight after the game, because you've got other things to deal with. And the manager's dealing with a comment. But surely somebody in the SAFA process, ahead of the next game, when this becomes relevant, says, where do we stand on bookings? I mean, is this not Management 101?
I've been told that before every game, there's like a technical meeting where you go through the kits, you go through who's on suspension, all of those things. So yes, he may have been fetching the ice, but what happened in the next meeting and the next meeting after that, where people were constantly bringing up that, hey, there's a yellow card situation. I don't know how the team manager has gone from being at fault to being a victim as well, but they're saying we should move on. I guess we don't have a choice.
I mean, if you are responsible for anything, let's say you run a restaurant. We're going to talk about restaurants at the moment. If something goes wrong at the restaurant and you are either the owner or the manager, it's on you. And you may have been in the bathroom at the time, or you may have nipped out to get extra coriander because the supplier had, but it's your job, it's your establishment. I don't understand, because the minister went in hard on the issue, got a lot of praise for it, and it's now opted for an explanation that I think is very weak.
And I think that's also an issue that Gates and McKenzie will also have to kind of balance, where just because a lot of people are talking, you on your own just do the behind the scenes investigations, because now there's going to be that pressure from the fans that are saying, but you said you're going to take a hardline stance, and here you are saying, no, we need to help suffer more. Then what is your role exactly?
Yeah, well, they definitely need someone. Ice, baby. Someone needs to go fetch it. Okay, so I came across this fabulous thing on the internet. I don't know why I found it so funny, but I did. It was on X. I'll put it up. I'll make sure people can see it. But basically what it shows is people in restaurants, and it's obviously a setup. So somebody orders a sandwich. You're nodding, Karabo. Maybe you've seen it.
Yeah, you showed me
yesterday.
A few days ago. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then they bring this enormous sandwich. It's like 15 times bigger, and they do it with huge mugs of tea and so on. Anyway, it's hilarious, and it made me chuckle, and I really enjoyed it. But it did get us in a conversation that some of you have already responded to, because we've posted the question on social media already. But when you go to a restaurant, what do you expect, and what decides whether you've had a really good time? What decides for you? Those were my expectations, and yep, they've been met. I must tell you, I expect very little from restaurants. I virtually never go. Okay. And I'm a little bit of an awkward customer. I get irritated quite easily. If there's too much attention, I don't like it. If there's no attention, I don't like it. The food is never hot enough for me. I don't mean spice, but temperature. And when I look at the bill, I go, meh. Yeah, really, was that worth it? But that's me. I'm Mr. Grumpy Restaurant Guy. Tola Kelly, when you go, what are you looking for, and what determines whether you say to yourself, yep, that was cool, I enjoyed it?
For me, it's always the amount of time it takes from the drink to your meal being delivered. If it takes more than 10 minutes, I'm so sorry, you're not getting a tip. Because why is my drink finishing and I'm still waiting for the food? Like, I can be halfway through my drink and then you bring the food, then I'm like, I'm happy. And also, I don't like it where 2 spoons into my meal and then you're asking me, how's the food? I just started eating. Give me a chance.
100%.
So this just shows what an awkward customer I am, because if the food takes too long, I don't like it. But if the food is too quick, then I also don't like it.
No, John.
Because I think, no, that just...
Maybe you should just cook for yourself, John.
That's what I do. I eat at home, which is what Modise says. He says, lately, I prefer home-cooked meals. Other people are sending us, though, some details. So what are your expectations when you go to a restaurant, and what determines for you whether you've had a really fabulous time? How about you, Karabo? What do you look for, and what have you found?
I just look forward to my madam having a great meal and having fun. I'm also just like you, John. I'm not really a big fan of restaurants. I just do it because, it's the thing that couples do, go out on dates. So I become the difficult one when my madam complains to me, because she's very shy. She doesn't like complaining. So she'll be like, oh, this is cold, or this doesn't taste well.
Yes.
And I'll taste it and I'll be like, yeah, you're right. And then I'll be the one being the grumpy boyfriend saying, this is unacceptable. Fix this. And
yes.
And yeah, just to impress her or make sure that she's having a good time and a good experience. So if she's happy, trust me, I'm happy.
Okay, well, that's a good way to measure it. Carol says, expectation, eating better food than I can cook myself, which is a conversation we have at home, actually. Like, if we do go somewhere, okay, we're not going to go somewhere where they make things that we can make. So let's go where they make things that we've never been any good at making. But your expectations, and by the way, if you run restaurants, I mean, how do you deal with people who are kind of not easily pleased? And I don't know, I don't think I'm fussy. It's just, I don't really ever go. Your thoughts, please. Michael says, good food, vibes, and refreshing. Refreshing what, Michael? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Refreshing ingredients, just refreshing to be not at home. And Tsepo says, good food, good service, good time, and value for money. 10 minutes to 5.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, this is something we do every week, and we do it because we are keen to make some kind of contribution to everybody better understanding how we can live a little bit more eco-friendly in the way we go about our business or the way we go about our daily lives. Green Tip of the Week is brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo, and each week we'll highlight someone or something impacting the way we can be greener, cleaner, smarter, healthier, and eco-friendly. Now, remember when you had to wait for dial-up to connect? Technology moves on, so why are people still driving cars like it's 1999? Volvo's plug-in hybrids are the upgrade you've been waiting for. You don't need diesel power, you just need a second electric motor. Just like you updated from dial-up to fiber, you can upgrade your drive with electric for the city and fuel for the open road. Don't be the last one to catch up. You're late for your test drive. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. Now, I was thinking that for a lot of people, they would have implemented a solar panel solution at their homes quite some time ago. So, are you reaching the point now where panels need replacing, or you've perhaps upgraded and you've got some panels that you're no longer using? What exactly is the best way to safely dispose of and recycle solar panels and the other components of a solar installation? James Shirley is Managing Director for Africa for Seagen Solar, and he joins us now on 702 Drive. Mr. Shirley, welcome, and thanks very much for your time. Have we reached the point now where recycling is becoming an issue for a significant number of South Africans? Some of them, I would have thought, bought solar quite a few years back.
Yeah, hi, John, and to your team and the listeners. We most certainly are, perhaps not so much on the solar panels, which seem to have a longer life, but really, I think batteries are the product which is most affected currently and most dangerous, in fact, to the environment if not managed properly.
Yeah, in terms of best solutions then, I mean, what do you advise? I mean, would a good reputable solar company assist you with a solution, or have you got to figure it out for yourself?
So any of the good companies will really take care of the customer. There's a thing in South Africa called the EPR, which is the Extended Producer Responsibility Program. And that's law. It's been law since 2021, which requires any importer of solar and renewable products, amongst other things, to pay or to at least provide an amount of money for future recycling and end-of-life care of the product. So the really good companies, we all comply with that. We all provide for that. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't do that. However, those that are providing make use of something called a PRO. And the PROs, they have under the regulations, they have a responsibility to train SMEs to do collection. They teach some companies how to collect batteries and take them off to treatment facilities. They also have some companies which they train to collect and store in small containers, and then they teach the SMMEs how to dismantle, to separate, and to sell off the various parts. And then they also work with some fully compliant recyclers that'll collect and recycle the products safely and efficiently. As far as where to go and what to do, they, in a lot of cases, they'll actually come and collect the goods from you for some of the larger e-waste, as it's called. However, if you look at brands like Woolworths, they have collection boxes in a lot of the stores, perhaps not so much for solar panels, but certainly for batteries and some inverters. And if you go onto a website for a company like Circular Energy, for example, if you look in the top right corner of the Circular Energy website, there's a button you can just click and it says request collection.
Take us through what happens to a solar panel when it's either end of life or end of the meeting the need that somebody has. Perhaps they've expanded their home and they're looking for something else. I mean, is there a second-hand market, or when it's done, is a panel pretty much done and then you're into the dismantling phase?
So yeah, panels, when they're done, they're pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
However, the useful life on a panel is actually from 20 to 30 years.
Oh, okay.
So in South Africa, we have a few that are reaching that point, but most of the modules that are installed currently have still got quite a long time to go ahead of them. They're made up of silicon wafers, they're made up of glass, and there's some aluminium in the modules. So there is opportunity to recycle some of the product, but other product needs to be disposed of properly. If you look at batteries, those are really the products which are most at risk. You've got lithium, which can be flammable, and your risk there is not only health and to people, but also leakage and to the environment. You also have lead acid batteries or gel batteries. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please finish.
Yeah, so what you would want to do is people need to be trained properly to dismantle the batteries or the inverters and recover the copper, recover any of the chemicals that are recoverable, and then dispose of safely the balance, plastics which cannot be recycled or certain components and certain chemicals which cannot be recycled. So it is quite a process. There is space and there's an economy which is growing for the recycling. There is also an economy which exists for secondhand batteries and secondhand products. However, it's not mainstream as of yet, so generally more on the black market in a recycling, in a second life use.
Thank you very much. Very interesting indeed. James Shirley, Managing Director for Africa at the company Seagen Solar, and they are involved in installation and so on, but also taking a very careful look at what needs to happen for various components of a solar system that need to be recycling, but crucially and very interestingly, it seems to me, economic opportunities that flow out of that recycling process. This has been Green Tip of the Week. It was brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo. And tune in again next week, Tuesday, for another Green Tip of the Week. And of course, if you've got something you want us to cover or something that you think you could maybe tell us about and inform us as an interesting topic for conversation, drop me a note. 072 702 1702.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The Department of Social Development says statutory rape in the Eastern Cape has become a scourge. While the Children's Act makes it mandatory for professionals to report such crimes, Deputy Director General Zuliswa Ganka says many don't know how to complete the paperwork to report the cases. Social workers are also overburdened by their caseload.
We are not able to efficiently and effectively support these victims.
She says many social workers also fear reprisal if they do report statutory rape cases.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Did you know one company's waste could be another's raw material? The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program is a free facilitation service that connects businesses to turn waste into opportunity. In its 10-year journey, it has helped divert over 290,000 tons of waste from landfills and reduced 1.5 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Join the movement, save costs, energy, and grow a greener economy. Visit industrialefficiency.co.za to learn more. The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program, a decade of industrial sustainability, unlocking growth opportunities for SMMEs through industrial symbiosis.
You thought that your guilty pleasure of streaming The Real Housewives of Duduza was just a you thing. Until your boss said, "Hey, did anyone watch last night's reunion?" Now look at you, small talking your way to a corner office. Connected at home, finding your tribe everywhere. Get the best Wi-Fi experience with fast and reliable fiber from OpenServe. Ask your ISP today. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Norman, describe this piece of land for me, please.
An iconic site right adjacent to Nelson Mandela Square. As you move through the library area, the land extends all the way through to the Gautrain, where the entrance of the Gautrain is. You don't get a vast piece of land of about 4 hectares, Sandton City, which I believe is the capital of Africa.
Norman Rath, CEO of Roll Auctions and Sales.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, advancing Red Rocket's ambitions with Discovery Green as the off-taker to power Africa's future through affordable, renewable energy.
This is EWN.
Brown Mokhotzi's shot-up vehicle was not roadworthy, and over 500 parties registered as SA gears up for local government elections. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. It has emerged that the car used by controversial businessman Brown Mokhotzi during his alleged attempted hit was unroadworthy. Mokhotzi claims he was the target of an attempted assassination in Vosloorus Ekurhuleni last night. He says he was driving a red Chevrolet sedan when unknown suspects in a white bakkie opened fire on him. The vehicle is currently at the Vosloorus police station, where ballistic experts are collecting and analysing firearm evidence. Alfara Mushwana reports.
When police found the red Chevrolet that controversial businessman Brown Mokhotzi was driving during his alleged shooting, the vehicle had no license disc. All 4 tires are also visibly worn out, with the treads faded and barely visible. EWN understands that the car was bought second-hand from a dealership on the East Rand earlier this year. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mate says the details remain unclear, as Mokhotzi has yet to submit a statement about what happened last night.
We have seized the vehicle, as you can see. Well, at this stage, because we are still waiting for Mr. Brown Mokhotzi, it's not yet clear where he was coming from and where he was going. So those are some of the details that we would like to, collect and gather from him.
Police say if it turns out that Mokhotzi lied about his alleged shooting, he could face charges of defeating the ends of justice. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Vosloorus.
Deputy Police Minister Phuli Bushielo says the directive to disband the political killings task team should have been done with more consultation. She says Minister Senzo Mchunu did not consult with his 2 deputies and the National Police Commissioner about his decision. Bushielo was responding to questions from MPs on Mchunu's directive during her testimony before the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, which is investigating allegations of police corruption. Babalondenze reports.
Deputy Minister Phuli Bushielo says she couldn't object or express her views on Senzo Mchunu's directive because the minister has executive authority and used his powers accordingly. She told committee members that she found out about the directive on social media and thought it was fake. Bushielo further states that Mchunu's directive could have been done differently and he should have provided reasons.
In terms of the priorities of this government, we fall in the third one, where we want to build a capable, ethical, and a democratic leadership. So the events surrounding the disbandment of the PKTT serve as a case study on how not to manage a critical national institution.
She says she hopes the recommendations of the committee will be the blueprint for the revitalization and restoration of the police. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
We shift our focus to this now. The Electoral Commission says it has not flagged any area as a hotspot for political violence ahead of the local government elections. The Commission says an interministerial committee has been tasked with overseeing the smooth administration of these elections. The IEC held a media briefing today in Centurion to update the public on its preparedness for the upcoming polls. Tabiso Koba was there.
Historically, this period in the country has coincided with political violence. The Moerane Commission into the KwaZulu-Natal political killings said jostling for positions was at the heart of the violence. IEC's Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Masego Sheburi says the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure, also known as NATS-joints, has already been activated to guard against any possible flare-ups.
In that context, we will begin to receive indications of areas of concern and the mitigation steps that the relevant authority are taking and the steps that we as a commission need to take. So far, we have not received any worrying warnings from those structures.
The IEC has urged all political parties to abide by its electoral code of conduct, which advocates for non-violence and tolerance. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And President Cyril Ramaphosa says he will call for an institution to be set up to deal with inequality when he opens the G20 Leaders Summit in 18 days' time. Ramaphosa received a report from an expert panel led by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Joseph Stiglitz in Cape Town today. A key finding of that report is for an international panel on inequality to be established to support governments and multilateral agencies in assessing and analyzing the extent of inequality. Stiglitz says global inequality is a choice, and he has praised South Africa for putting it at the top of the G20 agenda. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
With South Africa and Namibia topping the global list of unequal societies, President Cyril Ramaphosa says much of the inequality stems from a history of colonialism and apartheid. He's welcomed the report compiled by a panel he appointed in August, saying it provides a blueprint for putting matters of inequality on the global agenda.
It correctly asserts that inequality is, in the end, a betrayal of people's dignity, an impediment to inclusive growth, and a threat to democracy itself.
Leader of the panel, Professor Joseph Stiglitz, says inequality is not only about wealth, but impacts every aspect of people's lives and their accessibility to services such as health and education.
A lot of the wealth at the top is a result of monopoly power and exploitation.
Stiglitz says it is possible for governments of the world to close the gap in inequality through their economic policies. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Taines.
Gold is trading at $3,992.94 an ounce. The rand is at 17.48 to the dollar, 22.83 to the pound, 20.09 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.89 a barrel.
Calvin, Alex, heading towards Germiston, you can now expect more than an hour delay. This is N3 southbound between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road due to ongoing roadworks. Also, roadworks causing about a 30-minute delay in the Sunwood Park Boksburg area heading towards Brakpan N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City and Edenville. There's slow-moving traffic. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis Interchange.
In your sport, Pakistan set a victory target of 264 in their first ODI against South Africa. Gayton McKenzie says VAR will now be implemented in 2026, and Kaizer Chiefs look to move up to second in the Betway Premiership standings with victory over Orbit College tonight.
A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with afternoon thundershowers expected. Joburg dropping to overnight lows of 14 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 14 and 28, and Vereeniging a low of 15 and a high of 27. The top story in EWN this hour. It has emerged that the car used by controversial businessman Brown Mahzi during his alleged attempted hit was not registered.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive. It's 9 minutes past 5. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us earlier if that's what you did. It's great to have you with us for the last hour of the show. Coming up after that, of course, the Money Show with Stephen Curtis between 6 and 8 o'clock. Stephen with an excellent lineup. We will hear more from him at about 25 minutes past 5, an update on the market close, a look ahead to what he's going to be doing later in the day. We are going to be talking about the South African Police Service. We do that quite a lot at the moment. We've been doing it since July, early July, when Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made the allegations and statements that he did. However, we're going to focus on something a little different here. Never mind the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, never mind Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is currently on the go with Deputy Minister Boshielo currently answering questions. But we are also going to look at what the Auditor General has found about the police. And the state of its procurement expenditure is really something absolutely alarming. We're talking about billions of rands here, where the right thing has not been done. And we're going to talk about that to the Chair of Parliamentary's Portfolio Committee on the Police, Ian Cameron, joining us shortly to share his thoughts on that. Latest traffic news for you coming up. Some of you are talking about your experiences and expectations in restaurants, including Jenny, who says, went to an exclusive restaurant, was excited for the meal, chose the pasta option and got like 4 small pasta parcels for an absolute fortune, filled up on bread, then go to a reasonably priced Indian restaurant and get an amazing, tasty and generous meal. Please look at my postings on X. You'll see a link to something where the meals were supersized. It's a stunt, but it's very, very funny, and I hope you get as many laughs out of it as I did. Can't look at it while I'm broadcasting, actually, because I might chuckle at some serious moment. 11 minutes past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Dade John. I always tell people this is what the radio has to be. Radio must make you laugh. Radio must inform you. Radio must teach you, and many more. Not only entertainment and gossips and everything, but radio has to be, you need to leave radio. And that's what you just made it. But you always do it that, right? I'm chuckling here. That one you just dropped. Eyes, baby. Wow. That's what we need when listening. Serious news being told, but there must be that little element of that. And this is the art of radio that you have. You've got so much and so much more. Thank you so much, Ntate Radio. Eden from, not Ntate Radio. You are Ntate Radio, for what you are doing. Ntate John, thank you so much, man. So thank you so much. I like listening to the radio and getting there, Not only just being serious and all the time, and stressful news, politics and everything. Thank you, man. You pull in that, and then we like that being pulled out of us. We need to be stretch all directions. That's what we want. Eden from Marshalltown. Thanks, Ntate John.
Good afternoon, Ntate John and 702 Landers. For me, having been a waiter myself, it's an attentive waiter. A waiter that notices the glass is almost empty. A waiter that puts the food down and leaves and sees that we are in conversation and doesn't ask, is everything okay? Yeah, so an attentive waiter, not one that disappears, but one that reads the situation. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. And boy, if you are watching us on YouTube, you'll see that while Eden was talking, I was beaming and maybe even blushing a bit. So thank you for both of those, and love getting the feedback about what a good waiter does in making a restaurant experience work. 13 minutes past 5, police spending in just a moment, but first the traffic.
EWN Traffic.
EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Problems in Boksburg. Rabochali with the detail.
Yes, a couple of issues in the Boksburg area. Let me start in Angelo, where there's heavy delays on Main Reef Road between Field Road and Rondebolt. Not clear what's causing this delay at this time of the afternoon. So if you're on that route, Main Reef Road between Field and Rondebolt, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702. In Sunwood Park, Boksburg roadworks also causing huge delays on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. Edenvale traffic also sluggish. R24 westbound, that's heading towards Bedford View. on this is R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange, while in Midrand, traffic pressure on the N1 South. This is between Ellendale Road and the Patlu interchange. And in Devland, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 5:30.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsmen can't help you choose the perfect anniversary gift, but they can ease the traffic congestion so you get to the dinner on time to make the celebration special. With the Outsurance Pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we can all get where we need to be quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag #PointsmenLove, licensed insurer and FSP.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Has this system of tenders really served us?
I don't think so.
So why are we not changing it?
Clement, that is beyond my pay grade because it depends on the chief procurement officer, treasury, etc. I personally, I'll be very happy if we look at another system. For instance, we are going to buy 1.4 million articles in hospital. As a chairperson of the National Health Council, I demanded that we don't go for a tender.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Join Tembing Nkosi Mtembu from the hit series Shaga Ilembe and be the strongman who makes better health a legacy. Shop Seller Men's Health Range, Strongman, Stress and Anxiety, Clear Skin, Joint and Gout, and Daily Immune. Available in a tea, mixture, and capsules. Shop today at Clicks, Dis-Chem, ShopRite, Checkers, Boxer, PNP, and Spar. Don't compromise. Sela iya sebenza.
I'm Samela Kilboy, an actress and mom to 3 lovely kids. I worry about how sugar can make them sick. Drinking sugary drinks could lead to diabetes, heart disease, and obesity as they get older. Diabetes is one of the top causes of death in South Africa. I'm joining the fight to demand government puts our health ahead of greedy industry profits. Government must act now. Protect public health. Increase the health tax on sugary drinks, tobacco, and alcohol. Sign the petition on heala.org. That's HEALA.org.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
17 past 5 now. As I mentioned earlier in the show, the South African Police Service under the spotlight and glaringly so, both in Parliament at the ad hoc committee looking into issues that were raised by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi back in July. And then, of course, at the Madlanga Commission, where, to my mind at least, some pretty startling stuff is coming out. But there was a signal moment in Parliament this week as well, where South Africa's Auditor General presented some really quite startling figures in regard to irregular expenditure over a number of years, both the fact that this is continuing, but also highlighting that previous highlighting by the AG's office of exactly this problem has not led to any action at all. The number, if you round it all up, all the different amounts either not addressed or currently incurred, stands at around 3.2 billion rand. Karen Dolly, by the way, a good summary of this on Daily Maverick. You can check that out. So let's find out what's going on. Ian Cameron is chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on the Police down in the House of Parliament. He joins us now. Mr. Cameron, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time on 702 Drive. This problem has been going on for quite a long time. Is it fair to say that from what the AG is saying, that really no steps have been taken to deal with it at all?
100%. So, good afternoon. You're 100% correct. Over the past financial year, we've seen that irregular expenditure has increased by 140% in the South African Police Service. And out of that 3.5 billion that you spoke of, 2.5 billion rand is unresolved irregular expenditure that was flagged by the AG or the Auditor General. And SAPS has failed to finalize investigations to uncover those losses. Now, to make matters far more serious is the fact that one of the most glaring matters of procurement corruption that was flagged by the SIU in an investigation just about after the COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic, it came to their attention that SAPS had bought a whole lot of PPE, a lot of it wasn't actually delivered, prices were inflated, etc. But the very person that assisted in facilitating that worked for Treasury at the time. That person is now the Divisional Commissioner of Supply Chain Management. So there's a massive, massive integrity or ethics problem in parts of SAPS management.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, there were investigations into that. I believe that the SIU were involved, but I'm just looking at a couple of stories. Mark Hayward was the journalist who did this, the company involved, Red Roses Africa, and it just seems each year passes and not much gets done. Ian Cameron, I mean, in the Portfolio Committee, you discuss all sorts of issues, lack of resources, lack of training, lack of roadworthy vehicles. You can name virtually any problem the police face. It seems to me all of that ultimately comes back to whether the budget gets properly spent. And it would seem that year after year, it doesn't. Were any of the people who were speaking for SAPS in the face of the questions that I'm sure you and others asked, joining the dots between their performance or lack of, and the fact that they can't look after public money?
Well, I think this was I wanted to call it irony, but it was almost comic to see that the very Divisional Commissioner of Supply Chain Management simply said that, and I quote, sometimes people on the bid committees in the South African Police Service are not competent, and therefore things slip through the cracks. Now, I mean, how can it be? The direct question after that was that, is that the way that Mr. Kat Matlala or Vusi Kat Matlala managed to get access to the South African Police Service and became a successful service provider to SAPS? So the point that we made, and I just came out of the ad hoc committee where we listened to the Deputy Minister of Police, Dr. Boshielo, and the point that I made to her in closing was that the Kat Matlala or Medicare 24 contract wasn't a matter of someone, mistakenly having allowed him to get access with his business to SAPS.
Yes.
It was a deliberate and intentional choice of senior SAPS members to steal money. It's that simple, and we will be following it up accordingly.
In terms of the incompetence defense of procurement, is any of this incompetence, or do we all have to look at these things as potential crime scenes?
I've unfortunately become quite pessimistic about these things, cynical. I've lost an appetite to just blame it on incompetence. I think where incompetence is involved, it's more for the sake of convenience for corrupt individuals. So I think the majority of it is regarding corruption. In this day and age, your vetting process should be pretty much foolproof. There's no reason, nowhere on earth, that these kinds of characters can easily get access to any department.
Yes.
Never mind SAPS. I mean, they should be identifying criminals. How on earth does this then happen there?
As part of the presentation, because as I understand it, the committee sat for a particularly long session. The South African Police Union were there and trying to fight the corner of ordinary men and women. When I say ordinary, they're doing extraordinary jobs, many of them. But the rank and file, let me use that expression. Is the union drawing the connection between this complete mess when it comes to looking after the money on the one hand and the interests of their members? Because I would assume that behind many of the stories of public absolutely at their wits' end because police don't attend to a crime scene, and officers who would want to do that but don't have working vehicles. I mean, the joining of the dots surely is going to be critical if we're going to make some headway.
Well, it makes it very frustrating because a lot of things get flagged over and over again, and whether it's by a union, by any other body, whether it's Parliament, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, there are scores of cases where SAPs choose not to do the right thing. I mean, I don't know if you saw yesterday, a Lieutenant General Mboto spoke at the Madlanga Commission.
Yes.
And Mboto himself is someone that has links to the likes of Nafiz Modak. Had previously, there were serious allegations of interfering and actually preventing arrests of very serious criminal figures. Yet last year he got promoted, and despite us flagging it and asking questions about it, the then head of the Hawks, General Labia, defended the promotion, and so there are many examples. I think the unions do try very hard in many cases. Unfortunately, on ground level sometimes, I must be honest, I think some individual representatives of unions sometimes confuse their role as fair labor reps versus defense lawyers. But at the same time, they do have a legal obligation, and they can't choose when they are asked to represent someone.
Thank you very much, Ian Cameron, a DA Member of Parliament and Chair of the Portfolio Committee on Police. I'm really keen to know, if you're listening and you're a member of the South African Police Service, how do you feel when you hear about all this irregular expenditure, not just the quantum, but that almost 2.5 billion of that represents irregular spending that was flagged for investigation and resolution, and nothing has been done about it? I mean, how does that make you feel as you try and do your job without the resources you need? Give us a call, 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. 26 minutes past 5.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
Understanding surrogacy as a whole. We're joined by Dr. Paul Leroux, specialist in reproductive medicine.
There is an increasing demand for fertility services for various reasons. One of the main reasons is that women have children at a later stage in their lives now because women are setting up their families and getting financially secure. And as women get older, their egg quality decreases. So this makes the whole fertility process more difficult.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9 featuring Hepia. Their CEO Gift Nkuna will be in conversation with Bongani Bingwa. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
Before you throw it away, think again. Join the Glass Recycling Company's Recycling Challenge this November. Collect your glass bottles and jars, drop them at your nearest glass bank, and help your city climb the leaderboard. Each bottle counts towards a cleaner South Africa. Post your recycling pics on Facebook with hashtag Glass Recycling Challenge and stand a chance to win 5,000 Rand. Let's shatter records and clean up our cities with the Glass Recycling Company. T's and C's apply.
Did you know one company's waste could be another's raw material? The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program is a free facilitation service that connects businesses to turn waste into opportunity. In its 10-year journey, it has helped divert over 290,000 tons of waste from landfills and reduce 1.5 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Join the movement, save costs, energy, and grow a greener economy. Visit industrialefficiency.co.za to learn more. The Gauteng Industrial Symbiosis Program, a decade of industrial sustainability, unlocking growth opportunities for SMMEs through industrial symbiosis.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you.
Afternoon to you, John. A tough day for the JSE, mainly because of what's happening with resources, although more fears being sparked today from the CEOs of two of the big US banks talking about a sort of downturn for markets. The JSE all-share down 1.5% at 107,382 points. Financials down 0.71, industrials down 0.37, and resources down 4.5%. So the gold price is down significantly. Platinum also down quite a bit on the day. That's had quite a big impact, but just a general downturn. So Northam and Valterra, both in the platinum markets. In fact, Northam, Valterra and Implats all down significantly. Northam down 8% on the day. Sibanye down 5%. Harmony Gold down 4.6%. Goldfields down 4.32%. They're not the only ones. Clicks is down on the day as well. British American Tobacco, they're up 2.35%, while Exara are up 2%. And Karoo finally sort of bouncing after some consistent losses over the last few days. They're up 1.79%. Dis-Chem up 1.76%. You'll remember their update last week. And AB InBev is up nearly 1.5%. The fintech company Optasia priced at 19 Rand a share on the listing this morning. Several times oversubscribed. Raised 6.5 billion Rand. It now has a market cap of 23.5 billion Rand. I'm sure what helped, John, is that decision by First Rand to take a stake of 20.1% last week. And that, I'm sure, had a little bit of an impact on that. And that certainly would have done something for the valuation today. We'll speak to the CEO of Optasia this evening. They are looking at going into the Asian market, and I suspect that will have an impact, and we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. It is going to be a tougher market, I suspect, than the Middle East and Africa. The CEO of Morgan Stanley and the CEO of Goldman Sachs, both in Hong Kong at the same event, both saying that equity markets could be heading towards a drawdown. Suggestion, though, John, this is quite strange, that a drawdown of, say, 10% over time would be better than some kind of cliff. Well, maybe, but 10% is going to feel like a cliff, depending on how quickly we go over it. That helping to push U.S. markets down. The Dow Jones is down 0.25%. The Nasdaq is down 0.92%. The S&P 500 is down 0.62% on the day. The gold price, $3,953.16. Platinum, $1,546.40. Brent crude, $64.29. The rand to the dollar, 17.47 to the euro, 20.06 to the British pound, 22.79. On the Money Show tonight, we'll speak about inequality. The big new report about inequality ahead of the G20. We'll speak to Professor Jayoti Ghosh, one of the people who actually put the report together. John, I'm sure you saw it, but over the last 24 years, the richest 1% of the world's population won 41% of the new wealth that was created in that time. It's an extraordinary figure. We'll talk about what seems to be a rise in tourism, and then another strong warning about online gambling, this time from an insurance company, and we'll also talk about the contribution mining is making to our economy. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Money Show between 6 and 8. It's 28 minutes to 6. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The Johannesburg High Court has barred lobby group and political party Operation Dudula from making public statements that constitute hate speech on the grounds of nationality or ethnicity. Earlier today, the High Court handed down a judgment in favor of rights groups against xenophobia. Groups including Abahlali Basemjondolo and the South African Informal Traders Forum took Dudula to court for their recent acts of demanding identity documents at public healthcare facilities and schools. The groups also accused police of failing to act to stop Dudula. Khomotso Modise has more.
The Johannesburg High Court has ruled that only an immigration or police officer has the power to demand that another person produce identity documents. It's interdicted Operation Dudula and its leaders from intimidating, harassing and assaulting any individuals that they identify as foreign nationals. While the majority of the judgment was in favor of the rights groups, the court did not grant their request to bar Dudula members from wearing military-style uniforms. The court also does not agree with submissions made by the groups that police failed to combat, prevent, and investigate criminal conduct. The groups have also made allegations of communication and collusion between police, the Home Affairs Department, and Operation Dudula, but the court has not ruled in their favor in this regard. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
An Eldorado Park police officer accused of murder has told the Joburg High Court he intends applying for bail for a second time after it was revoked. Mandla Buthelezi appeared alongside his co-accused for pre-trial today. He faces a string of charges related to the murder of his girlfriend, Chesney Kepler. It's alleged Buthelezi shot and killed Kepler in December last year after a domestic dispute. Kepler, who was a member of the Gauteng Crime Prevention Wardens, worked alongside Buthelezi at the time of her death. Jabulile Mbata has more.
When Eldorado Park Station police officer Mandla Buthelezi was arrested, he was released on 20,000 rand bail. In September this year, during his court appearance, he was rearrested and his bail revoked after police investigations revealed that he intimidated witnesses. His accomplice, Llewellyn Meyers, was charged with the attempted murder of witnesses and defeating the ends of justice. Today in court, Buthelezi's attorney, Spamandla Madinani, said they intend to attain bail again.
Accused number one has instructed me that I must bring a new bail application for him. I've discussed this with my then friend, and then we were looking at the 2nd of December.
Buthelezi faces charges of murder, attempted kidnapping, assault, and defeating the ends of justice. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
And former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. According to a family statement, Cheney died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. He served as the vice for former U.S. President George W. Bush during 9/11 and wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Bush has paid tribute to Cheney, describing him as a calm and steady presence in the White House amid great national challenges. He says he counted on him for his honest, forthright counsel, and he never failed to give his best. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with afternoon showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures peaking at highs between 14 and 15 degrees and highs of between 20 and 24.
Joburg CBD traffic sluggish M1 south between Killarney Bends and the double-decker section, while in Devland roadworks also causing delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. Sunwood Park roadworks are still causing about an hour delay on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City.
The top story in EWN this hour: the Joburg High Court has barred lobby group and political party Operation Dudula from making public statements that constitute hate speech on the grounds of nationality.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Will negotiations and conversations continue today, or have people paused for a while, go and consult, and then come back at a later date?
My understanding is that negotiations and conversations are ongoing. Unfortunately, the deadline for the employer-initiated work stoppage has now passed, so that commenced as of midnight last night. What's really important to emphasize is that our full roster is fully protected, with all scheduled flights covered by non-unionized crew members and, of course, by unionized crew members that have already accepted the company's offer.
Kirby Gordon, Chief Marketing Manager for FlySafe Air.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Congratulations to the latest Powerball Plus multi-millionaire who scooped over 6 million rand on Friday after playing on their banking app. Play Powerball or Powerball and Powerball Plus for 23 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday, and you could be next. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Live extra with Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket. Save big on deals like a Quelle Natural Still or Sparkling Spring Water, a 500ml 6-pack for $36.99. Kellogg's Cornflakes cereal 1 kg for $74.99. And buy 3 Colgate selected toothpastes, 50 or 75ml, and get the cheapest one free. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for pharmacies, convenience stores, beauty salons, and more. Corney?
Business Outsurance is definitely the best insurance for my business. Bowled out every other insurance house. Honestly, looking at what you need, my installment came down within a day, definitely the most professional.
Switch to business outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
EWN Sport.
Tola Kelly Mganga with the latest, starting out in Pakistan, where it seems Quinton de Kock is back.
Absolutely, John, and he earlier top scored with 63 as the Proteas were all out for 263 in 49.1 overs of their first ODI against Pakistan. In response, the home side are currently 103 for the loss of 2 in the 19th over, requiring 161 runs for victory. Batting is Rizwan on 1 alongside Azam on 7. At the same time, former Zimbabwe captain Sean Williams' international career is over. That's after he entered a rehab program to treat his drug addiction. Zimbabwe Cricket says he's now made himself unavailable for selection after a career that saw him score almost 9,000 runs and take more than 150 wickets across all 3 formats. Switching over to football, where Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie says VAR will be used in domestic football next season. In March, he had declared that the technology would be in place for this current campaign, but he's now shifted the date after allocating 82 million rand towards training, as well as setting up a dedicated VAR training centre.
When we come back, I can tell you there will be VAR. In fact, to even give you more information, the persons responsible for VAR are going to Spain 15th of November to go and do a stress test on the model. There's Hawkeye, there's different models of VAR that we've come to learn. But the one that they have chosen, they are going to do a stress test on it.
4 games are scheduled in the Bedway Premiership this evening, including Kaizer Chiefs against Orbit College. Inaso Miguel has discussed the pressure on the Glamour Boys to deliver success this campaign, with the team also competing in the CAF Confed Cup.
I don't agree when you say pressure. I think it's a privilege. I think it's a award of what we have done last season to be able to play this CAF Confederations Cup, But of course, it brings a lot of responsibility. I will change the word from pressure to responsibility. We have a big responsibility in terms of representing South Africa in the continent. So, of course, our focus right now is that we can't disappoint our supporters from that, At least the minimum that we have to give, it's the image of a hard work team that wants to win every single game in their group stage.
In the UEFA Champions League, holders PSG are up against Bayern Munich, while Liverpool hosts Real Madrid in the pick of the matchday 4 games. Ahead of their Anfield showdown, Xabi Alonso has discussed coming up against Florian Wirtz, who he managed while at Bayer Leverkusen.
For sure, it's a big change for him to come here to Liverpool after so many years in Germany, his whole life, and few years in Leverkusen. He needs to adapt, but he's really a special player. He has the quality, he has the personality, he's competitive, so special, and probably one of the reasons that I am here.
For Arsenal, they're away to Sparta Prague. Mikel Arteta's Gunners, along with Inter Milan, are the only teams who have yet to concede a goal in this competition this season.
Yes, of course, it's a huge platform to win games, and the difficulty of that in this competition, and when you are playing away, even more so. We know that tomorrow we're going to face a really good challenge here, and is a team as well that they are very intense, very direct, very vertical, and we're going to have to be really good to achieve what we want.
Tola Kelly Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 18 minutes to 6, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Jammed up in the Joburg CBD, Karabo Charlie with the details.
Yeah, that's driving between Braamfontein and Booysens. Slow-moving traffic through the Joburg CBD M1 southbound. This is between Killarney Bains and the Crown Interchange. While in Calvin, we still have those roadworks causing about an hour delay. This is on the N3 southbound between the Patrol Interchange and London Road. If you are leaving Sandton at this hour, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Catherine Street between Rivonia Road and Greyston. Midrand traffic remains a bit sluggish on the N1 southbound between Ellendale Road and the Patrol Interchange. This is due to an earlier accident. In Sunwood Park, Boksburg roadworks also causing about a 30-minute delay. This is on the N17 eastbound between Rondebolt and Carnival City. In the south of Joburg, Soweto, Protea Glen, expect about a 20-minute delay. This is on the R559 main road opposite GOG Gardens. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story's different, and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Now, we're going to get to some music in a moment, but you're very welcome to keep commenting on the stories that you've either heard or the questions we've asked of you. Some people talking about restaurant experiences, but this from Sam in response to the interview we had with Ian Cameron about the massive overspending on the one hand by the South African Police Service, but also it would seem, complete inactivity and possibly even apathy in trying to deal with this irregular expenditure and resolve previous instances of this. All of this to the tune of more than 3 billion rand. Sam says, I am a tax-paying hard worker. Wherever I hear the words irregular expenditure relating to the public sector, my blood just boils to a point that it feels like it will suffocate me to death. People must first prove that they can manage their own money properly before taking public service jobs. Irregular and wasteful expenditure is not a mistake. Sam concludes it is deliberate. So, Sam, with very strong feelings about that, bringing us to 5:45.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
So, music to wrap the day and end the day. I suppose when things are not going all that well in your country or in your community, you think, if only we had superheroes or people with superpowers. We do not have any of those. I think hard work would generally get the job done, if it's to which you add to 1 part hard work, 2 parts honesty and integrity. But let's get off that topic and get on to the music. We decided to look for songs that either refer to superpowers or superheroes of some kind, whether they're well known like Superman or anyone like that, and there are plenty of others as well. But you've got one, Karabo Chali. What's your song and why'd you pick it?
Well, the song is by Genuine. It's called Superhuman. Like I say, I grew up listening to a lot of R&B when I was young.
Yes.
And it's still one of my favorite genres. So can you please play Genuine Superhuman?
Superhuman by Genuine.
Genuine, yeah.
We've got it. Let's hear it.
I'd have to be strong, stronger than a mountain, baby, to not crumble at the touch of your hand, I'd have to stop time to stop this love inside me, baby, to not reach each night for you, to not need you like I do. Superhuman. Made out of stone, made out of steel. To not feel what I'm feeling. To not feel what I'm feeling. To not love you, baby. To not love you. I do have the strength of 10 men. Oh yeah. To ever resist a love strong as this. To not care like I do. I'd have to be super. I could possess, oh yeah, all the greatest powers, baby. I could hold the whole world here in my hands, and still I would be powerless to leave you, baby.
Superhuman by Genuine, who was born Elgin Bailo Lumpkin. Interestingly enough, in his 2 first names, his birth names, named after one of the great players in the history of American basketball, recently named as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Nice little twist to the song and its author. So, songs with superhuman powers that refer to superpowers or indeed refer to superheroes? Give us your pick. Send it to us on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 11 minutes to 6.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The Department of Social Development says statutory rape in the Eastern Cape has become a scourge. While the Children's Act makes it mandatory for professionals to report such crimes, Deputy Director General Zuliswa Ganka says many don't know how to complete the paperwork to report the cases. Social workers are also overburdened by their caseload.
We are not able to efficiently and effectively support the victims.
She says many social workers also fear reprisal if they do report statutory rape cases.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Cheat on your barber with the Market Theatre this November with no regrets. Experience the African premiere of Inua Elam's international hit play, Barbershop Chronicles. An exceptional cast takes you inside the barbershops of 5 African cities and London, where men gather for connection, debate, laughter, and therapy. Cutting-edge storytelling, razor-sharp drama, neatly trimmed movement and song. Don't miss Barbershop Chronicles, directed by Sibusiso Mamba. Visit markettheatre.co.za to buy your tickets.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, Daddy John. Good afternoon. It's Fizza here in my train. Can you play a song by Eminem? They call me Superman. Eminem is a song for me.
Jimalang Bakhaitsu, Dr. John. How about We Don't Need Another Hero by the Queen of, you know what, Tina Turner. Simple.
Out of the ruins, out from the wreckage, can't make the same mistake this time. We are the children, the last generation. We are the ones they left behind. And I wonder when we are ever gonna change. Living under the fear till nothing else remains. We don't need another hero.
Yeah, fabulous. Tina Turner, what a voice. Neil sends us this. John, it has to be Superman by Boosie and Black Coffee. Okay, let's hear it.
I've been hurt so many times.
distinctive sound of Black Coffee, vocals by Busi, Superman. Okay, a lot of you are coming in with some really nice tracks and interesting suggestions. Let's hear another voice note.
Hi, Dr. John. Somawa here. It's Beyonce featuring Frank Ocean, Superpower.
When the palm of my two hands hold each other, that feels different from when your hands are in mine. That's just the way it is. And when my voice is screaming out to my own ears, that feels different from when I hear yours. Now that's just the way it is.
Beyonce and Frank Ocean. Now, here's a lovely song choice, and going with it is a really stunning message from Claire in Boksburg. And just as I'm about to read it, my screen jumps. So let me just make the screen not jump and get back to the message. Where did it go? Claire in Boksburg. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase it. Here we go. People search for the hero. My mom would play it for me when I was doubting myself as a teenager. Claire with that from Boksburg. People, I think they're from Birmingham. Fabulous. Like that song very, very much indeed. Thanks for the suggestion, Claire, and for the message. Songs about superpowers and superheroes. Here's another.
Hi, Dr. John. Could you please also play Superwoman by Alicia Keys, please? Beautiful song. Thank you. Bye.
I realized that it wasn't just for me. You know, it was for every woman. It was for every mother, it was for every daughter, it was for every child. And it was for every man who can recognize a superwoman. So this song, I gotta sing it. And every time I think of it, I think of that.
Nothing seems complete. I stand up and I'm searching for the better part of me. I hang my head from sorrow, state of humanity. I wear it on my shoulders, gonna find the strength in me.
Third studio album of Alicia Keys' Superwoman came out in 2007. You know, I was listening to a conversation in Parliament, and it's been all over the place, where people have been lamenting the fact that there are all of these people who are on the public payroll who get paid, but they don't actually work there. And I thought, who's going to sort this out? And then today made me think there is a solution.
Strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
I mean, we've had the Scorpions, the Hawks. Why not Ghostbusters, eh? Thanks for joining us on 702 Drive. It's been fun having you with us for today's journey. We're back again tomorrow. I'm John Perlman. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, advancing Red Rocket's ambitions with Discovery Green as the off-taker to power Africa's future through affordable, renewable energy. Good evening on your Money Show tonight. The Optasia CEO, Salvador Anglada, on their JSE listing and their hopes for Asia and South America. How the rich have got so much richer over the last 20 years, and can better tax policy lead to a healthier society? The tourism sector seems to be finally surging again. Budget Insurance says online gambling is a silent wealth destroyer. How mining creates nearly R500 billion in income. And from 7:30 tonight, how to sort out that depressing credit score. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin with news just in. 3 more suspects involved in the Westbury shooting have been arrested for a double murder. This brings the total number of arrests to 5 in the October shooting of a group of teenagers in which 2 were killed and several others